Clari-T Media. Clari-T. Yeah. Listen up. Black people. Ice Clean, Smith & Wesson Beam. It's a media theme. Clari-T inspiring. Requirements never tiring. Laundry list you never miss. No wishing. Best media on display. Problem solved out the way. Magnitude, Godzilla. Selling more power than J Thriller. Getting backlash, cash stash so we can grow. Clever on the air, you better go. Ancestors need us to be bold. Smart enough to live another day. Get it right. Solving problems quick without non-descendants up in our mix. Race soldiers getting help. Turning backs and watch and let you shoot. Clarity, bright, speaking truth. No help, have to help ourselves. Raise up if not for nothing else. T-technical, scientific, qualified. Always with it. Come through, rock with a few. Drip lit like a spotlight. Just winning, media life spinning. Media life spinning. Media life spinning. Just winning, media life spinning. Media life spinning. Media life spinning. Enemies outside, enemies within. We gotta stop it. Know it's a profit. Burden heavy, broken levy. Meant to you now and forever. Politics is what she's speaking. Good mental health needed. Lift each other, don't trip. If your brother slip, extend grip. Make cash flip, pay each other. That's a good look, need each other. Deep inside, it's survival. Jump in together, no rival. All the content's original. If you hear it, listen and share it all. Then you should've played with all your heart. Clara sticks it to him like a dart. And have the aim of archery to mark. Melanin made them all envy. Experimenting, cause they saw me blow by a NASCAR race. Nah, better space boost pace. Yeah. Nah, better space boost pace.
Media worked hard.
Just winning. Media life spinning. Media life spinning. Media life spinning. Just winning. Media life spinning. Media life spinning. Media life spinning. We can change that though.
In 2023, Clari-T Media worked hard to cover a diverse number of stories within the Black communities. We covered the fight for reparations for Black San Francisco. We covered all of the annual Juneteenth celebrations across the city. We got into deep conversations about mental health and wellness for the communities. We got candid with our experiences in education and Black life in San Francisco economically, for our businesses, and more. We work to destigmatize mental health and wellness, access services and programs. We recruited new peer advisors. We sat down and spoke candidly, one-on-one, with local politicians and city government. We got the entire family involved in mental health and wellness messages and public service announcements. We worked closely with local artists, videographers, photographers, graphic artists, voiceover artists, on air personalities, studio owners, and more in the multimedia field. We employed interns this year as well. We rallied through the halls of City Hall for the Dreamkeeper Initiative. We supported our partners across the city who continue to support the Dreamkeeper Initiative and Clari-T Media. We sat down to hear the voices of San Francisco one-on-one as they told their personal accounts of living in San Francisco. We tried to make sure that we express the ideas, opinions, and hopes and dreams of Black San Francisco, and we went across the city to do it. So thank you for supporting Black-owned media, Clari-T Media.
If you'd like to be a guest or suggest show ideas, drop us an email or a direct message. We'd love to hear from you. Clari-T Media, human stories, grassroots solutions. Subscribe, like, follow, and share. The Bay Area Mental Health Hour, Clari-T Conversations, and We the People. Building trust for the first time. Out of chaos comes clarity. Clari-T Media.
Hi, I'm San Francisco.
Like a spot just winning, media life spinning, media life spinning.
Hi, I'm San Francisco Mayor London Breed. Thank you for joining us as we kick off Black History Month in San Francisco. We are celebrating the legacy of African American leaders, artists, workers, and heroes, and reflecting on the many contributions they have made to San Francisco and our entire country.
Black History Month is about reflecting on the history of our people.
Black History Month is about celebrating the leaders who came before us.
Black History Month is about resisting the injustices that keep us from moving forward.
Black History Month is about upholding the values of inclusion, equality, and justice.
Black History Month is all about honoring those who have fought for the very freedoms we have today.
Black History Month is about what we can do to strengthen and uplift the Black community, and everything we continue to do year-round to build lasting change for African American people. We are so proud of the Dreamkeeper Initiative, a $60 million investment that delivers on our promise to strengthen our community and transform the lives of African Americans in San Francisco. This year's Black History Month theme is African Americans in the arts. Over the years, San Francisco has made significant investments to ensure our Black artists, creatives, and cultural spaces continue to thrive.
Let's remember our history and use it to help move us forward.
Let's celebrate the incredible leaders who came before us and instilled change.
Let's continue to fight for representation and a seat at the table.
Let's remember where we came from and what it took for us to get here.
Let's honor the life and legacy of Black heroes who've paved the way for the next generations.
As we celebrate Black History Month, let's recommit ourselves to empowering our community, not just this month, but all year round.
don't want anyone to have to go through the things that I went through. No one. Anytime you go into a hospital and they're afraid to push your gurney because they don't want to be downwind. To see a doctor standing across the hall and pointing you like that, I wouldn't touch. To go to a group to get services, be asked, why you here? You're not a gay white man. What you doing here? And they're not here for you. What you gonna do?
At one point, I was very open with everybody. And then there was the moments I was not. I had this thing in my head that I carried with me 24/7, that I couldn't give a fuck what they think or feel about me being different. I don't have time for that. I don't. If you're here to be with me, to support me and love me, and need to do the same with you, then I'm living good.
This year, my goal is to continue keeping a support group, and all the negative people, if they negative and I don't want to be around them negative, I have like a little circle, and I make sure they're not in that circle.
I started doing work with HIV in the South, which is the region that's hardest hit, particularly for people who identify as Black. I've been doing the work for 9 years now. What inspired me to advocate for the HIV movement was losing 2 family members due to AIDS complications. I can't say how we met without first saying that I was given the program. I was giving creative reign over dreaming up something for Black women because there was no space for women here at the foundation. It was really difficult to actually meet someone. And so when I was able to meet that first person, she opened me up to, her network so I could meet other women. We started off just having many conversations with them, seeing what was missing, what they wanted to see. Our first event was September of 2022. The event we put together was called Intimate Conversations, and it's really just getting the ladies up there to tell their stories as it relates to their relationship with HIV. It's the first kind of introduction of Hughes to the broader community as well as internally.
I'm Diana Chiaretta. I'm from the Red and Orange House Foundation, and I was hired by San Francisco AIDS Foundation to connect with Hughes to create a commemorative, expressive piece of art that talks about their lives as Black women living with HIV to share to younger generations. And we decided to make a singing tree mural. It's the 127th singing tree mural on the planet. When we were sitting around a room and we were sitting with Vince Christosimos, and we were talking about the concept of the tree and what we were going to do. And Hulda came up with, let's do 4 stages of womanhood and 4 branches. And she explained the 4 phases of womanhood, right, from childhood through to elderhood. And she was just talking in poetry about all the various aspects of women's lives, of motherhood, raising kids, being a grandmother, having a career, loving your spouse, and then you get older and then you take care of your parents, and then you share your knowledge as elderhood. And then Vince Christosimos said something I'll never forget. He said, you never mentioned HIV. And Hulda said something like, because that's the last part of womanhood. We are all of these other things. We are mothers, we are caregivers, we take care of other people. HIV happens to be a medical condition that we have.
The mural, the symbol of the tree, is the roots are our ancestors, the people who came before us, the knowledge that we gained from them. The trunk is the body of the tree. We're all human. That's our trunk. The tree limbs are the symbols, are the stages to me of life. In this leaf, I see strength, the ribs, the forming of the ribs, the forming of your bones. And at the top of the leaf, I see love, a big hug.
The point in the mural I'm focusing on, which is 30s, 40s, kind of like middle adulthood. Those leaves are focused on passion and career and really self-discovery. There's a lot of symbolism for love or wisdom, bringing forth things that you've learned in those tumultuous 20s and how you can make better decisions in terms of like love, passion, career in your 30s, 40s, 50s. To be honest with you, sometimes I get frustrated with myself in the midst of art making because I have a vision in my head, and if it's not coming together as I'm seeing it in my head, I get a bit frustrated. But, you know, there's a phrase that says trust the process. And so as I'm going further and further along into the art making process, things start to come together better.
I've been diagnosed with HIV for 32 years. At the time that I was diagnosed, this was something that was definitely a death sentence. I knew nothing at all about HIV, nothing. When I went to for services, most of the groups were for gay white men, so therefore I could not learn anything. That was one of the biggest problems when I got diagnosed. Who do I tell? How do I tell them? Where do I fit in? What is out there for me? How can I get the help that I need? Trying to find services for myself is challenging because you don't know who to ask or you don't know what to ask without being stigmatized. It's a big stigma in our community as it is, and our community meaning the African American community. The only people who actually accepted me were my sons. Now I have a whole community of family.
Hues is an intergenerational resilience space for Black women who are either living with HIV or accessing prevention services or education. It really is a space where we like to focus on holistic wellness. We don't like to center HIV in many of our conversations. I said this before, like the relationships that I've built with the ladies is really what's paramount for me. Sometimes in programming, the community members are seen as a number or something to check off. But I think that what's unique about Hues is we really are building genuine connection and relationship.
Hues, first and foremost, what I think Ebony has done, because it's her nature, she's got that big, huge heart, is they come to drop and share their lives deeply, and then the group listens to each other with such empathy. That's a unique quality. We're actually in Anita's house because we're having a hard time finding a space. And then Nilda just sort of said, hey, I'll talk about the 20s, and just started pouring out about her life in New York City, in its interconnection with using substances to avoid pain. And then we just connected it and said, well, here are all the colored pencils that we're going to use. What colored pencils would you pick out, Nilda, that connect with these tumultuous years in your life of the 20s? And then she just picked out all these oranges and reds and browns. And that started us with the idea that each branch should have its own shaped leaves with its own color pattern.
My nephew died of AIDS, so when I found out I was HIV positive, it was only a year I quit drugs. So I was very much into, going to meetings. And so the first thing I did when I found out I was positive was get into meetings, mainly men's meetings. Why? Because mostly that's what there was. Finding out I was positive, I entered a world that I found more love and more acceptance than I ever knew before. I'm alive. I have friends. I'm clean. I'm sober. I'm drug free. And HIV has given me a life that I never thought I would ever have.
It is important that Hughes exists here in San Francisco at the San Francisco AIDS Foundation because we've not seen women in HIV represented in this space before. You think of San Francisco, you think of gay men, you think of white gay men particularly. And so when you think about women in HIV, you never put San Francisco and that together. And so I think that is the reason, Black people do live in San Francisco, right? And Black women are 60% of new HIV diagnosis among women. And so I think that because of that, it just speaks to the importance and the value of women living with HIV having a space where they can feel at home, where they can feel safe and secure amongst each other. And given the landscape of San Francisco, that visibility is especially important.
From the beginning, the project, in its concept and its creation, I understood that it is their story to tell and that I'm kind of the art director around the scenes, behind the scenes, making sure that the project runs. So it's been this wonderful opportunity to really stay very rooted and very leaning in to noticing anytime I'm overstepping. Even during the moments when they're like, hey, come on, tell us, do you think the tree looks good? What colors should we use? And I just step back and say, but that's really for you all to decide. But I feel very, I'm honored to be in the circle. I'm honored that they let me in, and I'm honored every time they call me Spicy White and say, no, you step in, Diane. You are a part of our project.
When I first found out I was HIV positive, I was devastated. I didn't know anything too much about HIV. When they told me that I was positive, I was like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? What was going on? I didn't know. And so my sister was there when I got my results, and I told her, and then I called my cousin. And she told me I don't have to worry because I could be healthy. All I have to do is just keep taking my meds and go to the doctor. And she volunteered her service that if I need somebody to go with me to the doctor, to let her know, and she's willing to go with me to the doctor. Well, I didn't start accepting it until I did a documentary called Reflection Unseen, and by me sharing my story and talk about it then that way, that's when I felt comfortable.
I have lots of dreams about Hughes. Overall, I kind of just really wanted to leave a legacy of support among Black women, camaraderie amongst Black women of all ages, right? Hughes is intergenerational. So I want to see young women who are newly diagnosed with HIV. I want to see younger women who are in college and want to tell, their friends about HIV advocacy and what it could mean for them, right? I want to see it just being this very visible entity within the community that people know that if you need a safe place to go, Hughes has that for you. Hughes has a place where you don't have to talk about HIV. You can go see a movie. You can go have coffee with each other. I just want it to be known as a space where friendship resides. I'm grateful to be seen by older women who have led colorful lives and understand that, as a younger person and sharing space with them, that they can see me and they can, lead me. I'm really grateful for that. I fought for this. My body ached from its constant war against the Gypsy Ladies dance. But sometimes you have to fall into your next step. In my tussle, I found my wildest dreams. I get to take walks in parks filled with sunshine, to climb trees rooted in devotion. I've picked up signs and wonders along the way. I have to be hugged by winds just cool enough to need a blanket of love. I want to be flying freely in spaces as passionate as honey kisses, a hummingbird's quick visit reminding me to be light and soft and joyful. A million ends. Me and my wildest dreams made a pact, promised me that the flowers would blossom. She and I made a covenant to always choose liberation, affirmed that the butterfly would bring transformation my way.
All right. Hello, everyone. Alicia Mayo here. Alicia Mayo here of Clari-T Media. Thank you so much for tuning in on this Sunday. I am at home here just producing some content for you. Really happy to be joining you on this day. There's a lot going on out in the world, but there's just not enough coverage about what is going on in San Francisco. And as you could see in that particular program with the women of the Healing Mural concept, along with Ebony Gordon, that is a beautiful program. That is a program that is being nourished and supported by Mayor London Breed and all of her administrators who make programs and services like that possible. I am proud to be from San Francisco. I am proud of Mayor London Breed and all of her support with programs like that, including my own platform here at Clari-T Media. I'm a proud storytelling and narrative shift cohort of the Dreamkeeper Initiative. I was one of the first media professionals included in the Dreamkeeper Initiative for that particular cohort. Again, it's the storytelling and narrative shift cohort. I've been supported by the Dreamkeeper Initiative now for 2 years. And this is why I'm able to bring content to you like this. I am supported by the Dreamkeeper Initiative. And so I am telling the stories of San Francisco, Black San Francisco in particular, and I'm unapologetic about it because there is something and so much more, actually, not just something, but there's so much more to celebrate when it comes to the history, the current conditions, and the future of Black San Francisco. So without further ado, I would like to continue with my programming and thank all of you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to Clari-T Media on YouTube or wherever you spend your time on social media, whether it's on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. That's where you'll find Clari-T Media content, or you can look me up personally. Just look for Alicia Mayo. And again, make sure you subscribe on YouTube because that's where I put all of the content and then I spread it out from there. Tap on the notifications bell so that when I go live like this, you'll go live with me, okay? You'll see it as it's happening. And you can tell folks, yeah, she actually did that. She did that and it was flawless content. It was like watching TV. Okay. I want you to share this content with your friends like that. Be proud of what I'm doing because I have you in mind when I'm producing all of this content. Okay. So that's it for now. Thank you again for tuning into Clari-T Media. I will be back with some more great content after a few station identifications. Okay. So I'll see you on the other side. Thank you again. Have a great day. Today's live stream is being brought to you by Clari-T Media. Support the San Francisco Dreamkeeper Initiative, recognizing and investing in the diverse Black and African American communities of San Francisco with a wide range of programs to support youth, families, seniors, and members of the Black LGBTQ+ communities. Dreamkeeper San Francisco is fostering hope for generations of Black people to feel free to dream boldly. Visit dreamkeepersf.org today. Tune in weekdays to the Bay Area Mental Health Hour on YouTube, Instagram, and on Facebook. You'll find us covering issues surrounding your everyday coping skills and your mental health and wellness. And remember, your mental health matters as much as your physical health.
What's good and what's pop from Realty One Group Philly? It's your girl Maya here outside of Lady J's. Y'all, we are so excited to highlight this Black-owned business today. So come on inside. We're going to see what they do from the bottom to the top of how they run their business, the food, and also we're going to get a bunch of behind the scenes. So come on in. Now let's go ahead and put our mask on and check out the inside of Lady J's. Hello, everybody. We have finally made it inside of Lady J's Soul Food, and I am here with Lady J herself, along with her sister, Charlene. Charlene is actually one of our agents at Realty One Group Elite. She has been with us for how long now, Charlene?
I think 8 years.
8 years, and you started in the mentee program, correct?
Yes, I did.
Y'all, so this is like family right here. She came in with Roxana, and now you're help running your own business, family-owned, woman, Black-owned business. Get it right. There's a big three. Yes, Black, woman, and family-owned. So today I wanted to highlight their Black-owned business here in the Bay Area, and I wanted to get a little bit of more of history and love behind the business. So let's get into it, shall we? Yay! So I wanted to start asking you, Lady J, of course, what got your start into the industry and how did Lady J become Lady J?
Well, I always enjoyed cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, I was going DoorDash one day. I walked into a Southern Express Soul Food. It said, now hiring. And I took the job.
Wow.
I met the lady. I told her how much I made at my other job.
Mm-hmm.
She told me that she wouldn't be able to pay me that amount, but she would help me get a restaurant. So that was all I needed to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So I was willing to work with her until I got the restaurant. Even though she was a little skeptical, she still winded up giving me the restaurant.
Yes.
And from Southern Express Soul Food, me and my sister decided after we separated with them that we would open up Lady J's. With her help and my family, this is Lady J's.
Wow, that is amazing. And so, Charlene, how did you get into it? Because I know your sister
Oh my
was.
goodness, you don't want to hear that. I told her my first job was KFC, and I'm like, I am not in the food industry. But she's like, no, sis, I just need you to manage the books and that.
Yeah.
You don't have to work. And now I'm here cooking, sweeping, washing dishes, doing everything.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was like, I'm always supporting my sister because she always supports me. So I'm HR now, and I'm the manager of the business. So I, help run everything. But I can do everything as well.
I love that.
Without her, I couldn't do half of this. I'm the fun person. She's the business person.
Yes. I'm like, no, you can't order that. Nope, we can't order that right now. Nope. Look at my bank account. Nope. So I'm like the money person.
It look good.
I'm like, nuh-uh, so get ready to come out. No, you can't get
we
that.
all have to have that person because my mom needs to have that too. The same thing. She's got to have something. And usually it's me. You would think it's opposite. I don't even own it. And I'm like, hello, we got to do this. We got to do that.
It's on me. Yeah, she make it successful. Actually.
Wow.
Oh, my baby little big sister.
I love that. So when you first started out and where were you first? So you said you were in Antioch and got here. So how did this become a thing here in Pittsburgh?
Well, unfortunately, Southern Express moved to Las Vegas.
Oh, wow.
And we were franchised with them. And once they decided to move to Las Vegas, we just decided we wanted to still serve the community. So food. We had grown a little relationship with the people, and also we have fun working together.
Yeah.
So I begged my sister to help me find this one.
Oh.
I found it, and she did all the talking.
Like,
as you should. Yes, come on, real estate. Yes, I love that. So how was it being here in the Bay Area at this spot? Because mind you, y'all, they're in a prime spot here. They have the best signage I think I've seen in this entire area. They have amazing other businesses around them, and so you guys got a really good spot.
Yes,
like this is amazing.
Right on the front street.
Yeah,
This signage, you have signage like on every single wall, plus on the railroad center. So this is something that you're not going to miss. So yeah, if you're driving by, come in the parking lot and come check it out. So if they do come in and they come check it out, what is something that you could recommend for them to try?
Well, on Sundays, yes, we would say the oxtails. We also have a variety of different soul foods that people like that they don't usually want to cook at home. We have turkey wings, we have neck bones, we have pig feet. But I recommend Sunday oxtails. Come before 3. Like
I tell everybody come before 3. She tells me not to.
I'm sorry, you come at 3, it'd be like 90 people here. Please, you can come at 4.
We do specialize in dollar size. We start off at $1. So if you're just not sure if you don't like the macaroni and cheese, or if you want greens, you can always try it. Only costs it starts off at $1 or so.
Yeah, our dollar size.
Yeah.
Bring that one back. I did
so
not know that.
It's so funny though when people come in, they're like, "What's this? The size of $1?" It starts off at $1, but you can get $1.75, or $3.75, or $4.75, or $10.75.
Wow! But the fact that it starts at $1 and it's good. It's good.
Food. Whatever you get, if you get just $1 worth of greens and a piece of cornbread, you're gonna have a meal.
I love that. That is amazing. That, and also I feel like it really caters to the community that everybody can have it. You know, we're not gatekeeping food, that everybody can experience it, no matter who you are, where you live, everybody can experience it.
One more thing I want to let you know is that we don't cater to vegan, but we do cater to vegetarians. So we do have a vegetarian basket. All our sides don't have any meat on it. So if you don't eat meat, you can still get something and be satisfied, because all our sides don't have any meat at all.
Wow. That's what you get when you got a Black-owned business, okay? Cater to it all. Yes, I love that. So one of my last questions is what would you like to tell our viewers here about your business and why they should come and hang out with you guys and come get a couple $1 sides, starting at $1. Okay, don't get it twisted. Starting at $1, but it's good. What could you tell our audience?
I would say that we do treat all our customers as family. When you come in, we welcome you. We have the music going. Everyone's flowing. They're greeting you when you come in. It's just a great atmosphere.
Great atmosphere. And if you have an issue with anything that we have served you, you are free to let us know. You do not have to feel ashamed to let us know that we didn't satisfy you. We will make sure that you are satisfied. We are in business to feed the soul. We want all souls to be happy.
Business to feed the souls. That's gonna stick with me for a while. I love that one. But thank you both so much for your time for this interview. Y'all, we gotta go eat too, so I'm very excited to try a couple of things. I wish y'all had the oxtails though. That means I'm gonna have to come back on Sunday. I'm gonna get some oxtails and I'm gonna be here before 3.
Yes.
We'll be here before 3. Thank you guys again. And y'all, if you can come and celebrate and enjoy and support this woman Black-owned business located in the Bay Area in Pittsburgh, California. What is the address for us?
2227 Railroad Avenue, Pittsburgh, California.
I love it.
See us.
Yes, thank you so much. And we'll see you on our next Black-owned business spotlight coming up very soon. We're going to be supporting one of our other Realty One Group businesses that is Black-owned. So we're doing this all throughout the month of February and for the rest of the year because we're Black every day. And we're supporting and loving ourselves every single day. February is not the only month to celebrate. So
that's right.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Today's live stream is being brought to you by Clari-T Media. Support the San Francisco Dreamkeeper Initiative, recognizing and investing in the diverse Black and African American communities of San Francisco with a wide range of programs to support youth, families, seniors, and members of the Black LGBTQ+ communities. Dreamkeeper San Francisco is fostering hope for generations of Black people to feel free to dream boldly. Visit dreamkeepersf.org today.
Hi, my name is Taylor. I'm the founder of Taylor J Collection. We are a women's contemporary clothing brand located right here in Oakland, California. The journey of a woman comes with many changes, and that's why we are very intentional about all of our designs and collections. We make sure to provide elevated comfort, sustainability, versatility, and of course, style. If you're in the Bay Area, come by, say hi, and take some comfy pieces home to add to your closet. Shop with us online at taylorjcollection.com.
The 800, not that one. That's the 800. You're riding the 802. Go crazy, you don't see this. Yeah. You go so crazy, you don't see this. I saw you from the party. You told me you don't even party, but tonight is different. Yeah, I'm feeling the moment. I feel little mama with this face on. If you don't stand up in this, leave her alone. I feel little mama, she just in her zone. I feel little mama, she just in her zone. Yeah, tonight is different. Yeah, I be tagged, I be moving solo. My cousin saw you on E14. I thought you said you wanted to relate, oh. My name is Miggity Love Mo. Go crazy, you don't see this. Yeah. You go so crazy, you don't see this. I saw you in front of the party. You told me you don't even party, but tonight is different. Yeah, I'm feeling the moment. I feel little mama with this face on. If you don't stand up in this, leave her alone. I feel little mama, she just in her zone. I feel little mama, she just in her zone. Yeah, tonight is different.
I'm Taj Tashambe, your host of See Things From Our Side. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with my beautiful friend, Alicia Greenwell from the Black Joy Parade. Let's go. Let's talk about you first. Where are you from? How long have you been in Oakland? What's your career and life story?
So I'm not actually from Oakland. And I think a lot of people, I've had people tell me like, oh, you should this in Oakland. I'm like, I'm not actually from here, but I'm really committed to it. So I grew up in Sacramento, a little town called Roseville, which is a very small town. And I moved here right after college. I moved to the Bay Area right after college. And I bought a place really early in moving here. And so I like put down roots. And I think Oakland, immediately when I moved here, just signified something for me. Like I grew up in a really white town. I went to a really white college. And moving to Oakland was the first time that I was like, oh, there's all kinds of Black people, all different shapes, colors, sizes, interests, backgrounds, ethnicities, mixes, hair, loves, passions. And in Oakland, it's all good. You know, it's all embraced and it's all loved. And I think I'd been seeking that for a long time, and coming to Oakland allowed me to find that. And so I laid down roots here, and then I was here for like, I don't know, 5-6 years. And then I moved away for work. I'm in advertising. I spent my career in brand strategy, and I moved to work on Nike at a place called Wieden and Kennedy, which RIP Dan Wieden, just an icon and changed so many lives. But I went to Portland, and then I went to LA for a hot minute, and then I came back. And when I came back is when I decided to start Black Joy Parade, because I think that thing that I was seeking in the beginning that I'd found, I felt like was missing when I came back. And it isn't to say like Black people weren't here anymore, because of course we were here. Obviously the numbers were smaller, as we both know. But it was like the organizations weren't being supported, like the clubs, the things that I just like really appreciated when I had first moved here they weren't thriving at all. And then the only time I was seeing us thrive was when we were at protests. It was like Trump had been elected, Women's March was lit, like Black Lives Matter was at a peak at the time. And I know all that seems so recent, but this thing 5-6 years ago when it was like at its height, and the only time you saw a mass gathering of Black people was during these sort of like sad, traumatic times. And Black Joy Parade was made to be an antithesis of that. So it kind of brought my, I guess, love for Oakland combined with my kind of expertise in brand strategy together. And I don't know. And here we are, 5 years later.
It's been an amazing journey.
Been crazy. It's been crazy.
Yeah, it has been. And I think this program is about not only education and awareness, but just giving people their flowers. So I want to celebrate you for really championing something that we need. So Washington, D.C., I feel like has just this great, obviously, chocolate city vibe. And when we think about Oakland on the West Coast, and other cities like Brooklyn, New York, there's a flavor. Atlanta,
Houston, got its own vibe. Yeah,
Detroit. There are quote unquote Black cities in America. And I feel like Oakland has certainly been one of those, especially on the West Coast and in the Bay Area. We are the capital of culture as it pertains to this area. How have we not had a Black Joy Parade previously? Why don't you think that happened before 5 or 6 years ago?
That's a really good question. Firstly, I think parades aren't a West Coast culture. You know, like you think about the Harlem Day Parade, you think about just in general, the South, even Juneteenth, right, is celebrated with parades in a lot of places. And to be honest, we didn't really start celebrating Juneteenth in California like that until recently. So I think that's part of why we didn't have specifically a Black Joy Parade. But I also think specifically to Oakland, like so much of our Black identity outside of Oakland has been defined by resistance. With the party, with the Black Panther Party, which is even some of this, even, you know, Black Lives Matter started here in the Bay and in California. And so I think a lot of our identity outside of us, because I think we all here know that it's so much more than that. It's so much more dynamic and positive and creative and interesting. But when people think about Oakland's Black culture, they think about the party, you know? And so I think that makes it hard for us to surface things that are just about joy, that are just about positivity, that are just about the optimism and the beauty of all of us, right? So yeah, I don't know if those are really why, but and then maybe someone just didn't think to do it. I mean, part of it is just that, but like someone didn't sit down and say, I think, and to be honest, like I never knew Black Joy Parade would be what Black Joy Parade is. Like
Sure.
when I met you, I was like, oh, bet I'm going to have a parade for Black people. I'm like, maybe a couple thousand people. Who knew it'd be 30,000 people 5 years later?
No,
Like who knew it would have sponsors and hella vendors and all this energy and press and all this stuff. So yeah, I think part of it is just nobody got around to it, maybe.
Okay.
Which is a reason we don't have a lot of things in the world, you know.
This is true. This is true. So take us through what a Black Joy Parade experience is like for our viewers who may not have been to Oakland yet or come to the Black Joy Parade. Because there's a parade and then it's lit
Yeah.
after the parade with all the vendors and all the things. So tell us what a day in the life is like.
Okay. Well, first of all, I believe it's the best day in Oakland. That is my personal belief, that if you were to come to Oakland on any day of the year, you had to pick one.
Okay.
It should be the last Sunday in February. Because what happens is people come during Black Joy Parade and then they come later and they're like, oh, it was real lit in February. So I would say Black Joy, the kind of vibe starts in the beginning of February. Even though Black Joy Parade's the last Sunday, I would say that, and I'm really proud of this, that we've like amped up the energy of all Black History Month.
Sure.
Because it's culminated by Black Joy Parade. So we always do a bike ride and it's beautiful. It's a ton of Black people riding through the town together. We always do an open mic, and then, you know, we have all these collaborators in the city now, all these other organizers, producers, artists, etc., who I think were doing stuff during Black History Month, but really didn't have the kind of support of knowing that Black Joy Parade was coming. And so people were coming and energy and people were looking forward to it. And so all month, there's just sort of this like sense of joy. There's this sense of beauty. And it's like, we're on the throne, if you will, you know, and this isn't to say that Black people, that we're not always on the throne here, but you know, we're not the majority population. I know people might think we are, but we're not. And so, but during February, we for sure are. It feels that way. And then Black Joy Parade, I don't know, it's just the best.
It's so fun.
It starts at noon, the parade itself. So the day starts for me at like 6 o'clock in the morning because, you know, we take over the entire of downtown. And so we walk off the streets and, you know, there's a lot of that goes into that, and empower the small businesses in the area who always do really well that day. But the parade itself doesn't start till noon, and that's so people can go to church. And so you can see the church crew, they like roll up in their little church fits and they get their chairs out. And the parade starts down, like right downtown, close to the water, close to bar, everything. And it's just beautiful. This past year, we had 2,500 people in the parade, about 218 contingents, and that's like a group. And there's floats, there's dance troops, there's, you know, religious groups, there's churches, there's, you know, circus people, there's all kinds of Black organizations, and as well as like companies that support the organization and support the initiative. And the parade's not even a mile, but it takes like 3 hours because people just be walking slow, and you know, they see their friend and like, you know, we're like, come on, keep it moving, people. And it's just beautiful. And something I really appreciated these last couple of years is the first year, I didn't even know when it was going to come. Right. So I'm standing there seeing people like I'm like, oh my God, it's people. But now you see people like, when I get there, they get there. And I set up a chair because, you know, their grandbaby, they got to see their grandbaby come through 14th. And, you know, so that is really special that we get all these generations of people. We get old all the way down to, you know, babies in mommy's bellies, to be honest. Like it's the full spectrum. And then the parade spills out into a festival. And that's the part you're saying is lit, because it's like, I don't know what, 5 blocks by 5 blocks.
It's huge.
And it's just joyful. I can't really.
It's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. So you went to a PWI,
right?
I went to an HBCU,
right?
So imagine going to like homecoming,
right,
at an HBCU in Oakland.
That's what a lot of people compare it to.
That's what it is. I'm telling you, it's like, because you got all the sororities and fraternities there. You got the Hennessy set up.
You got everybody you haven't seen in a minute.
You haven't seen. You got stages for performances.
Yep.
Tell us some of the.
Yes, we have 2 stages of performances. One stage is mostly like local talent, which is so much. That stage is really hard to do because there's so much local talent. It's crazy. And then we have a main stage, and we always have a headliner. So this past year was Ashanti. The first year we had Jadena. The second year was T-Pain. Who knows what we'll have this next year? So there's always a headliner, but there's also, you know, DC is chilling, as always hosts the stage for us, and he just knows how to get everybody going. And so there's 2 stages, and then there's kind of like a healing village that has like yoga and massage and tea and services for people who really need to have somebody reach out to them about mental health in a way that's not like obtrusive, you know, that they
Sure.
can sort of seek that.
Sure.
There's a kids section that like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, these babies,
I love
it's
it.
crazy.
I love
I
it.
just,
I love it.
and I think especially there's a lot of kids in Oakland who don't have a lot of other Black kids in their school. And
Right.
that was especially true during COVID, right? And so they get to Black Joy Parade and they're like, oh my God, there's so many kids like me. And they're
Right.
just screaming and running and
Right.
bounce houses and just, it's so cute. It's
Yeah.
so it's cute, but it's also crazy. And then there's a game space that has dominoes, spades, chess.
Right.
So people throw down, they get real serious about it. Like it seems joyful,
Right.
but it's also like when the old man steps up and the young kid, it's like a lot. And then there's a Black wines area. And so we have usually like a dozen Black owned wineries. And I think, you know, a lot of people, McBride is, you know, made waves and Brown Estates up and Napa's done really well. But there's hundreds of other Black owned wineries in the world. And so we curate some so that everybody can sort of like taste that and sign up for their clubs.
Absolutely.
All that stuff. And then the Hennessy continues to be one of our biggest supporters, and they do a beautiful lounge every year. It's different. This year was themed basketball. One year was jazz. Like it really depends. And they make custom cocktails, and then there's like 200 Black vendors, and they just all the things, clothes and soaps and lotions and hair things and earrings and services and all kind of things.
Well, first of all, let me just say
And it's
shout
free.
out.
And it's free.
And it's
That's
free.
important.
Shout out to all the Black owned brands that participate in Black Joy Parade and that are based here in Oakland as well.
Yes.
So how do you find all of the vendors, and what was that process like? Because I think a lot of times what happens, Alicia, is we want to support Black businesses, but we don't necessarily know where to find them. Or if you go to a farmer's market or you go to something that happens on a regular basis, you might have a relationship with someone and you can kind of develop, you know, if they don't have a storefront, right? But with the Black Joy Parade, it's such an immersive experience. How did you grow your vendor pool and get so many people to participate?
What's dope is you can come to Black Joy Parade and experience, you know, 200 of those businesses that you're seeking. And so most of them don't have storefronts, not just some of them, most of them don't. And so this is usually one of the only ways you're going to be able to access to know about them, unless you're on some kind of like listserv.
Okay.
So when we started, I just knocked on a lot of doors, to be honest. Like I had coffee with so many people. Oh my God. I was like a regular at Red Bay, which is a Black owned coffee roaster here. And just ask people like, oh, do you know a business? Like, do you think someone would vend? You know, this and that. We try to keep our vending costs really low so that anyone could access it, even if you only sell 2 bars of soap, like it's worth it to you. And so I think after the first year being successful, then word just got out. And I think something interesting about COVID was so many businesses shut, but so many businesses opened. And so in the beginning, what we were doing was helping businesses transition to online. Like we had all these people vending at farmers markets and Black Joy Parade. We're like, oh, you need to make sure when somebody steps up and wants to buy something and follow up that you got something like your QR code or your little website or whatever. People didn't have that. And then after COVID, we were doing the opposite. All these businesses, Black businesses started online and they'd never done in person. And there's something really special about in-person sales. Like you said, you meet the person, your product is tangible. Like they can try it before they buy it. You can develop a relationship with them. And so that's been really cool to be able to help businesses like transition into in-person after COVID, you know? But yeah, I would say if you're looking for Black businesses, just come to Black Joy Parade. Like, there's so many things.
Absolutely. And I think that is so amazing that we have now discovered a new venue, right, that you've created with your team. And shout out to your team as well.
Shout out to my team. Shout out to
does take
all the cameras.
Yes, all the cameras. Shout out to the Black Joy team.
Yes.
Everybody, we'll see you in February.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. And thinking through how you built the team, how did you find your tribe to help you with managing this whole endeavor?
A few people on my team are just really good friends of mine who just support crazy things that I like to do. I would say Amber Lester, my co-founder, my friend Lauren Rodwell, they're just ride or die. And I love them for life for that. And sometimes the ideas don't work out. Shout out to them for trying again. And then other people like Paige Nicholson, who you know, who's an amazing designer, or owns a Black-owned business, Point Agency. She found me because I think I was just like having coffees with hella people.
Yeah.
And she heard about it and was like, I want to help. Our head of marketing, Maya heard me talk at a little event. I was like asking a question or something. And she was like, oh, I just moved here from Dallas. Like, I'm looking to get involved. And I'm like, Bet, do you want to do some emails? She was like, first of all, I could do more than that. And now she runs all of our marketing. So it's a combination of people. I think most people have been with me for all 5 years, which is pretty incredible. Alicia Thomas, who runs the actual parade itself. She was a friend of Amber's. They worked together and she's been rocking us for 3 years now. So yeah, it's kind of random, but I think that's how good teams are built. Like you don't necessarily seek out people, they come and find you when you're looking, and it happens that way. And there's only a few people that we've like sought out that are part of the team. We really need a social media manager, but other than that, people have kind of just come and told us what they wanted to do. And then we're like, cool, that's something we need because we need all the things. So please come on board. So I think we met through Siobhan. Right?
Yes, we met through Siobhan and
Siobhan Graham. Shout out to
Lathan.
Oh yeah.
She was the person I think that initially got us together, and Siobhan known for
forever, right?
Plus years.
Yeah. So Siobhan, runs our press and helps us do outreach and stuff. So she's been with me since day one too, and I'm really proud of. We're kind of a little family now. We actually just kicked off planning for next year, and
great.
Yeah, it's good. I feel very, very blessed to have a team. There's so much talent in Oakland. That's another thing. And I know there's this whole, I don't know if this is like faux pas to talk about it or whatever, but I feel like there's this whole thing where people feel like they have to move to LA to make it. Like really good artists or really talented people in Oakland feel like there's not opportunities to really shine. And so they have to move to LA or Atlanta or something. And I hope that Black Joy Parade is part of changing that narrative.
I'm glad you brought that up, because even with this program and this set, everything that we're talking about, community. If you're out there, if you're a creator, if you are a collaborator and you want to get down, holler at your boy. Holler at Alicia, because it does take, I think, the network to be strengthened. And we love our LA people too. I got some LA people in the house.
For sure.
So it's just a point of emphasis though, that you're right. We have to do a better job of really creating that environment, here, and having the right facilities, having the right, sort of job serve, listing opportunities so people know where they can tap in. And so, Black Joy Parade is definitely, I think, a meetup. It's definitely,
it is. A lot of businesses have started. Black Girls Greenhouse, they met at Black Joy Parade.
Is that right?
So a lot of we've had engagements at Black Joy Parade. We've had all kinds of things. So that's one thing. But earlier you said we created a venue. And I think that's really interesting, because if you compare Oakland to a lot of major cities that are the size of Oakland and sort of the notoriety of Oakland, we don't have venues like that. We don't got, we have Coliseum and stuff, but we don't really have like, oh, that place is dope. Boxes are very big, but I think people should keep in mind that Oakland, we're innovative with our venues. Like,
absolutely.
Downtown doesn't seem like a venue, but come to Black Joy Parade and you'll be like, this is a venue. The energy is here, the sound is here, the culture is here. And so I think, for sure, artists like tap in, and there are ways for you to elevate and shine and like get on, but you gotta like put in a different kind of work than you would if you were just like in LA or something like that.
Absolutely. So what can we expect? I know you said you're planning now for the upcoming parade, but what do you have in store in terms of vision, in terms of growth? Where do you want to take the Black Joy Parade experience?
I don't know.
I was all like thinking my question was,
it's a good question, but I don't know. Every year we start not from scratch. Like we know the model, okay, we're going to have a parade and a festival. But we don't really know, like, because it's made up so much of what the community is seeking at the time, and what we're really hoping for, that it kind of evolves as the kind of planning goes along.
I have an idea for you.
Okay, go.
Because I feel like when we first met, I want to go back to something you said.
Okay.
When we first met, I'm gonna remind you, when you said you wanted to have a parade on a Sunday, and you said, oh, I want to do it like at 10 o'clock. I was like, girlfriend, you must not have grown up in a black church, because ain't no way you're gonna be able to have a parade on Sunday morning during church time. So thank you for taking some of my advice and moving it back.
It was your advice and my aunt's advice as well.
I'm sure you had some
auntie was
advice.
Like,
yes.
Well, I'm not gonna be there till late. And I'm like, you can't be there late. You're my aunt. Like, so yeah.
Right. No, but you definitely got that. You got that right.
Yeah. But let me just speak on that really quick. So we did that, but we have people be skipping church.
Well, hey,
Don't tell God.
don't tell.
We'll be
Right,
skipping
right,
church.
right,
Because
right.
I'm like, I know what church you go to, and I seen your chair. So I know
Right,
you
right,
got
right.
here, you know.
But it works though. It works. At least you can accommodate.
Yeah,
You can
we can.
accommodate.
And I think some people that a lot of congregations that we've talked to will bring the congregation out,
think that's
and that'll be that's the service for the day, which I think is also really beautiful.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, it's an amazing day. What I wanted to add was I feel like you have so many great extensions, as you mentioned, like the bike race or bike ride, excuse me, and the open mic, things of that nature. What I've seen in our culture recently is just this onslaught of more information gathering opportunities. Like you look at Earn Your Leisure, right? They have the Earn Your Leisure Fest now, right? You have these other pop-up conventions that are kind of establishing themselves as not only authorization for the culture, but really empowering us. I'd love to talk to you about how can we do more in terms of educating our community or giving them more opportunities to expand, on their businesses and ideas, because you've got such a great platform
Yeah.
and it could be expanded into any direction you chose, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah, we've sort of as an organization been like an accordion. Some years we've really pulled out where we did like 30 events in February and we're like doing something year round. And then some years we're like, bet we're just gonna do this parade. And like, how about everybody else gets it together and does some other things? And I think now we're somewhere in the middle where we're doing what we can with the resources, the team and resources that we have. And I think something we're really focused on is, like you said, how do we lend our platform so other people can do their thing, And so that's what I was saying a little bit, touched on this a little bit when I was saying like how trying to help these businesses go from online to offline and back and forth and pivot. And if they want to throw their own event, like what does that look like, And our open mic, for example, we don't even produce that anymore. A group called Second Mondays does that. And Taylor, shout out to Taylor at Second Mondays. We collaborate on it, and her team pretty much Gold Beams is the organization. They like run it, and we like come and add the Black Joy Parade sauce, and the winner of that gets to be on the Black Joy Parade stage. But for the most part, Gold Beams is like putting in the work,
Okay.
The bike ride is really similar. It's a collaboration of all the dope bike crews out here, and so I think we're trying to do more of that, where it's not about Black Joy Parade. It's about how do we empower these other organizations and businesses to do what they do best, because that's what Black Joy is, right? That is all of us shining together. And it doesn't have to be that we do it and we're the holders of the keys and this and that.
That's super important. That's super important. So you have a syndicate essentially of business owners, organizations that are specialists. They specialize in what they do, and you're bringing forth the opportunities and the awareness, right, to partner.
I mean, if you think about it, each of us is our own business.
Absolutely.
Each of us is our own brand. Each of us is, and it is not my job to make my brand take over your brand. It's my job to help both of our brands shine. And so I think as Black Joy Parade, we're just trying to focus on that versus doing all the things and not being that good at them. To be, to be like, you should do this, you should do this. Like something people always tell is like, you should have a job fair. And we've tried so many times, like, okay, bet, because we have these sponsors and hella people are there. But it's like nobody's trying to come to Black Joy Parade to get a job. They're like, first of all, I'm wearing, my happiest outfit, which is not the happiest outfit for corporate America often. And so this is an example of things we tried. We're just like, oh, this isn't for us. But somebody out there,
somebody can do
is so good at that, and their venue and their world and their brand is all about that. And I would rather support them in their venture than like try to force it into ours.
Definitely. Well, with that being said, how can Visit Oakland help with Black Joy in the future?
Yeah. So one of my initial dreams and continuing dreams is to make Oakland the destination for Black Joy. So I think, we think about essence, right? Like you think 4th of July, you're like, bet I got to go to New Orleans. That's what it is, right? I would like people to think, oh, what am I going to do for Black History Month? Oh, I need to go to Oakland, because that's where Black Joy lives, right? And Visit Oakland can help us do that. They can help, and bringing people to Oakland, it helps everybody, right? It gets exposure for the Black businesses. It helps obviously the tourism dollar. It helps us at Black Joy Parade because we have more people. And I think we evolve and grow as an organization and an event with input. You know, it isn't just about one type of Black person. This is about the full diaspora. And so the more people that come from all these other cities, the more interesting the experience becomes. And so I think Visit Oakland can help us by like attracting more people from the outside of the Bay to come up for Black Joy Parade.
Sure, definitely. Well, I certainly would love to help you in any way to partner on that, because I think you have a blueprint for success and it's proven. And we just want to help it grow. To your point, this is the destination for Black joy.
It is, and it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful, and I think our roots in justice, what I was talking about in the beginning, like our roots in resistance, almost makes the Black joy sing louder. You know, it's like because we're so grounded here, it's like our joy just like shines so much brighter than any other place.
That's deep. I love that. So where can we learn more about Black Joy Parade?
You can search Black Joy Parade on the internet. Across the internets. We have website, the Instagrams, the Facebooks, the Twitters, the LinkedIns, all the things. My suggestion would be to come for the whole week, like fly in Wednesday, Thursday, fly out Tuesday probably, because you don't want to be doing anything on Monday, to be honest, because the Hennessy Lounge is real. It's very, very real. You might get stuck. So come out for 4 or 5 days and get to know Oakland. And I promise you won't regret it.
Awesome. Well, Alicia, thank you so much for being with us today. You're a treat and a joy, and literally the best that Black Joy has to offer. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Alicia Greenwell from the Black Joy Parade, and you're watching See Things from Our Side.
Today's live stream is being brought to you by Clari-T Media. Support the San Francisco Dreamkeeper Initiative, recognizing and investing in the diverse Black and African American communities of San Francisco with a wide range of programs to support youth, families, seniors, and members of the Black LGBTQ+ communities. Dreamkeeper San Francisco is fostering hope for generations of Black people to feel free to dream boldly. Visit dreamkeepersf.org today.
It's for the people, for the people, for the people, it's for the people, for the people, for the people, for the people, it's for the people, it's for the people, y'all, always for the people. Yo, this is Black Man Love, Black Fist Raised, Black Joy Parade, looking for a Black Queen, she the one. We still dealing with trauma from the transatlantic. That's generational damage, them scars are hard to bandage. That weight is hard to manage. I still feel my ideal partner, a sister, brown sugar, sweet as candy. They try to destroy the Black family, the Black community. They fear a Black planet, but knowledge, wisdom, understanding keep us overcoming and advancing. Black culture get exploited, they take advantage. That's why we need economic empowerment and financial literacy. Watch the stock market like we watch LeBron shots dropping. Wish I would've copped that GameStop option. They been robbing the hood. I've been watching like owls. I've been learning just how could I change the whole from within and get out and get back. For the people, for the peace, for the people, for the peace, for the people, for the people, for the people, it's for the people, y'all, always for the people. It's for the peace, for the people, for the peace, for the people, 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 it's for the people, y'all, always for the people. Yo, this is Black reparations, Black schools, Black teachers, Black education, Black entrepreneurs starting their own corporations, keeping all our dollars in our own community. That's the key to Black liberation. It's a Black celebration. Cookouts in the backyard, we moving up the catered. Got enough for everybody, call over the neighbors. Good vibrations, yo, it feel like Jamaica. Calling shots like the king, yo, it feel like the Lakers. Black excellence, yo, we setting new standards. Championship run, put the team on the banner. I'm just trying to lift us up, take the whole hood on the road. Do it like Hammer. They say the best leaders do it by example. I hope they see I only came up because I took a gamble. Roulette, last dollar laying on the table. And I stay faithful, stay true, because I do it for the peace, for the people, for the peace, for the people, for the peace, for the people, for the people, for the people, it's for the people, y'all, always for the people. It's for the peace, for the people, for the peace, for the people, for the people, for the people, it's for the people, it's for the people, y'all, always for the people.
BlackFacts.com presents Black History Heroes. Bob Marley. Born on February 6, 1945, in Saint Ann Parish, Jamaica. The son of a black teenage mother and much older, later absent white father. One of his childhood friends in Saint Ann was Neville "Bunny" O'Reilly Livingston. Attending the same school, the two shared a love of music. Bunny inspired Marley to learn to play the guitar. Later, Livingston's father and Marley's mother became involved, and they all lived together for a time in Kingston. Arriving in Kingston in the late 1950s, Marley lived in Trenchtown, one of the city's poorest neighborhoods. He struggled in poverty, but he found inspiration in the music around him. Trenchtown had a number of successful local performers and was considered the Motown of Jamaica. Sounds from the United States also drifted in over the radio and through jukeboxes. Marley and Livingston devoted much of their time to music. Under the guidance of Joe Higgs, Marley worked on improving his singing abilities. A local record producer, Leslie Kong, liked Marley's vocals and had him record a few singles. The first of which was Judge Not, released in 1962. While he did not fare well as a solo artist, Marley found some success joining forces with his friend. In 1963, Marley, Livingston, and Countach formed the Wailing Wailers. Their first single, Simmer Down, went to the top of the Jamaican charts in January 1964. By this time, the group also included Junior Braithwaite, Beverly Kelso, and Cherry Smith. The group became quite popular in Jamaica, but they had difficulty making it financially. Some members had left the group. The remaining members drifted apart for a time. Marley went to the United States where his mother was now living. Before he left, he married Rita Anderson on February 10, 1966. After 8 months, Marley returned to Jamaica. He reunited with Livingston and McIntosh to form the Wailers. Around this time, Marley was exploring his spiritual side and developing a growing interest in the Rastafarian movement. Both religious and political, the Rastafarian movement began in Jamaica in 1930s and drew its beliefs from many sources. In 1970, Marley worked on a movie soundtrack in Sweden with Johnny Nash. The Wailers got their big break in 1972 when they landed a contract with Island Records, founded by Chris Blackwell. The result was the critically acclaimed Catch a Fire. That same year, the group released their second full album, Burnin', featuring the hit song, I Shot the Sheriff. Rock legend Eric Clapton released a cover of the song in 1974, and it became a hit in the United States. After the Wailers disbanded in 1974, Marley pursued a solo career that culminated in the release of the album Exodus in 1977, which established his worldwide reputation and produced his status as one of the world's best-selling artists of all time, with sales of more than 75 million records. In July 1977, Marley was found to have a type of malignant melanoma under the nail of a toe. Marley turned down his doctor's advice to have his toe amputated, citing his religious beliefs. He died on May 11, 1981 at Cedars of Lebanon Hospital in Miami, now University of Miami Hospital, at the age of 36. The spread of melanoma to his lungs and brain caused his death. Marley achieved several great accomplishments during his lifetime, including serving as a world ambassador for reggae music, earning induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1994, and selling more than 20 million records, making him the first international superstar to emerge from the so-called Third World. Learn more at blackfacts.com.
If you'd like to be a guest or suggest show ideas, drop us an email or a direct message. We'd love to hear from you. Clari-T Media, human stories, grassroots solutions. Subscribe, like, follow, and share. The Bay Area Mental Health Hour, Clari-T Conversations and We the People. Building trust for the first time. Out of chaos comes clarity. Clari-T Media.
Drip lit like a spotlight. Just winning. Media life spinning. Media life spinning.
Baby.
Festival celebration. We got Anton ATD in the building. Juneteenth Festival in the Fillmore. We living life. We having great food, great eats, you feel me? Some cool swag, some cool clothes, some cool jewelry, you feel me? So it's good living out here, you feel me? It's good to be back in the back. Neighborhood, feeling it, enjoying it. It's a great day, you know. Woo-hoo!
We out here having fun. We came from Vallejo and Oakland, specifically just to hang out with San Francisco.
San Francisco, we're still doing our thing. We're still supporting each other. We're still pushing the legislation and provocative, if not enlightening, programs that other places take off later on. So we're radical now, but tomorrow we'll just be classical.
Celebrate the evolution of Black history. Knowledge, brother.
Fillmore right there. All right.
Happy Juneteenth. Good to see everybody out here having a good time. Happy Juneteenth.
If you'd like to be a guest or suggest show ideas, drop us an email or a direct message. We'd love to hear from you. Clari-T Media, human stories, grassroots solutions. Subscribe, like, follow, and share. The Bay Area Mental Health Hour, Clari-T Conversations and We the People. Building trust for the first time. Out of chaos comes clarity. Clari-T Media.
Like a spot, just winning. Media life spinning. Media life spinning.
I don't need an applause. The mayor will need an applause. Good to see everyone. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be fascinating, especially at this time where we are in San Francisco. Welcome to the newly merged Commonwealth Club World Affairs. I'm Raj Mathai, the lead anchor for NBC Bay Area News. Let me tell you a few things about Mayor Breed before she comes out to the stage. She is truly all San Francisco, born and raised in the great city of San Francisco. In 2018, she was elected San Francisco's 45th mayor and became the first African-American woman mayor in the city's history. Previously, Mayor Breed served as a member and president of the city's Board of Supervisors. Today, we're going to hear about the challenges and the opportunities facing San Francisco with regards to health and public safety, economic recovery, revitalization, housing, homelessness, and climate change. We really could be here for 3 hours talking about what we need to talk about. So please, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage and welcome back to the Commonwealth Club, the Mayor of San Francisco, London Breed.
Thanks, Raj.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
Okay, let's just start with this. You having fun on this job?
Well, it depends on the day. Well, actually, it depends on the hour.
Quickly, I mean, I know there's no such thing as a normal day for you, but just what's your schedule?
Oh my goodness.
Like today, what did you do this morning? What are you doing this afternoon and the evening?
Oh goodness, I get up sometimes 6, 7 in the morning. I immediately get on the phone, drink my coffee, get on my Peloton. I'm like huffing and puffing on phone calls, meeting with people back to back, reading my notes, getting prepared, and starting my day with just, it could be anything. It could be a press conference, it could be a meeting, it could be this, it could be a lunch, it's so many different things and any given day. And what I try to do, no matter what is going on, is to make sure I get enough sleep, I drink enough water, and I at least take care of myself so I can have the right mindset to do this job.
At the end of the day, certainly there are a lot of challenges that you face. Any big city mayor does. How do you stay positive? At the end of the day, when you're about to go to bed, do you think about something and review the day? How do you stay positive or just let everything get at you?
I don't watch the news.
I know a few news guys.
I stay off of social media. I try to protect my mental health because, it's sometimes because what I noticed, I remember one night, because I would regularly watch the news at night. And one night I was watching the news and every story was really awful. And it just made me feel really bad. And I thought, I don't know if I could do this to myself. And part of what I try to do at night is read. I love audiobooks, meditate, and try to bring the temperature down. But as soon as I hit that pillow, it's a done deal. Yes. Sleep is the best thing to do at night.
What's the most rewarding part of this job? And then the flip side of that, what's the most frustrating part of this job?
Yeah. Well, the most rewarding part of the job is when you're able to get something accomplished. When you're able to, run into somebody who says, I get a lot of complaints, of course, because I'm the mayor. Everyone wants to unload everything on me, which is a part of my job, and I accept that. But that one person who walks up and say, Mayor, I used to be homeless, but I've been housed for a year and I'm cooking my Thanksgiving dinner for the first time ever. Thank you. Or someone who says, my kid made the honor roll. You were at the event. We're so proud of him and he's been doing really good. And he looks at you as an example. And it's those kinds of stories and that kind of reinforcement that bring me a lot of joy because, it's been a hard time in San Francisco and we've been really disconnected. And we talk about mental health and what people have been through, but I think the challenge is we're not addressing it in a way that helps us to realize the significance. We're just, okay, it's over. It's time to move on. It's like, what does moving on mean? And what is our new normal? Because we're not going to be what we were before this pandemic, but we can be something better. And everything can't be about all the negativity and the divisiveness. We have to bring in joy. We have to bring in excitement, events, activities. San Francisco is a great and a fun city, and we need to make sure that we're introducing that into the conversations as well.
Frustrating part of your job? The most
frustrating. Let me see. The board of supervisors, the commissions, the accountability that I have, yet they are making a lot of the decisions that I have no choice but to implement. But I'm also being held accountable for them more. I mean, that's part of the frustration. Like, I'd love the opportunity to run San Francisco the same way I did during the pandemic, where I was able to be decisive. I didn't have to go through a lengthy process to get permission to do things that needed to be done to save and protect lives. And we're in a very similar situation with the number of overdose deaths, with the number of people who are, some of the crime and other issues, even though our crime numbers are lower than they've been in 10 years, not including the pandemic. But the ability to respond to things is important, rather than go through, for example, like a 9-month process to get permission from the Board of Supervisors to use surveillance technology to deal with the open air drug dealers who are selling poison that is actually killing people, and more so than we had during the pandemic. And we shut the city and the world down for the pandemic. And so we need to respond with the same urgency. So that is probably one of the most frustrating things, is not being able to move as aggressively as I'd like to.
I sat on the stage several months ago with former Mayor Willie Brown, and he said there's no way he could be mayor. Mm-hmm. He said that with all the commissions, with the Board of Supervisors, it's handcuffing the mayor's office. Do you agree with that?
It is, and it's challenging, but it doesn't mean that you just throw up your hands. You either work around it, or you go to the voters, or you build coalitions of people that want to see real change. I mean, the politics have always been, very problematic and very intense. So that's a part of the environment. You just have to accept that part. But what you don't have to accept is, hey, we can't do this because this won't allow us to. It's like, well, what are the options? How can we go around that? It may take a year to do it because you may have to go to the voters like we're doing with the propositions, but you don't let up. You have to fight for it. You have to push. And it's important to make sure that people understand why those problems exist and what the solutions are. And I think that's really the conversations that are happening now, is a lot of the solutions, which is why we're bringing forth a number of ballot initiatives to talk about solutions and the challenges that we're dealing with.
Historically, and you're a product of this city, so you know it, you've lived it. I'm trying to think back, Ed Lee, Willie Brown, Gavin Newsom, but I can't really think back those mayors, really back to Mayor Feinstein, that have faced such challenging times. I think the late 70s, early 80s in San Francisco when she was mayor, and then right now for you. Do you agree that those are the kind of most challenging times in the city?
Well, I from what I read in the history books in the 70s, it was a challenging time. And I can speak to the 80s of growing up in public housing. It was like the crime, the homicides, the people who were being killed, and our homicide rate today is nothing compared to what it used to be. Times were tough then, but I would say that, social media and the internet are playing a different role now more than ever. So it's like the crime is different and in some cases lower, but the fact that people see it more is creating a feeling of concern and unsafety and challenges around that. So I think it's a different time and we have different problems, but I know growing up I think that's unfair. Crime is one where, and just to give you the perspective of growing up in the Black community, because, first of all, the Black community is not monolithic. They're not one thing or another. But at the same time, I know from my perspective and my experience, I was afraid. I was afraid in some instances, and I wanted the police to protect us. But I also didn't want the police to target people unfairly. So I wanted that balance. And to say that, we want to completely get rid of the police and we want to completely eliminate their ability to do their jobs responsibly is not something I subscribe to. So I think that, depending on the subject matter or the issue, there's more conservative or moderate or liberal views on any given day. And I think that the sad reality is how it seems people are constantly, especially in the political world, trying to say you belong to one camp or the other, rather than how do we continue to work together on the issues that matter. And I'll give you a perfect example. Supervisor Hillary Ronan, we have been working very well together on some really great things involving small businesses with first year free, where we give small businesses, we waive the fees for the first year to get more businesses open. Over 5,000 applications with 3,600 new businesses and neighborhoods that have opened. We work together on the fencing issue in the Mission and the place where you see all these people, they set up shop and they're selling a bunch of stolen goods. Under state law, we cannot use police to directly enforce. And she has been working with me and working with the state legislatures to try and make some adjustments to that law so that we can use our officers to enforce. So I think that, again, when we work together, no matter, what our differences are, what our beliefs are, we can accomplish a lot.
There's two props. We'll get to them in a moment. Prop E and Prop F that are emblematic of a lot of the issues you're talking about, of what you can and cannot do to improve the city. Before we get to that, the latest poll came out. This is all about politics, right? This is right up your alley, of the mayoral race. Mm-hmm. And it has Mark Farrell, number one for a small group they asked, London Breed, and Daniel Lurie. How do you digest polls on an election year?
Well, polls are important because, they're reaching out to actual voters to ask a number of questions, but, sometimes people skew the questions in the way that they want. But I take those into consideration to, of course, get at the meat of where the challenges are and how I, as a mayor, need to address the challenges that some of these people believe that I'm not addressing. And that's my goal, is to use polls like this as not a way to feel defeated or beat, but as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to make sure that we, between now and Election Day, are able to change people's minds about how they might be feeling about me and the city.
Mark Farrell said, I just talked to him, I think last week, and he said, if we take an aggressive stance from the mayor's office, we can clear the tent encampments. Now, candidates,
again?
Mark Farrell.
Who's been where?
So
for the last couple of years?
As candidates, you can say a lot of these things. Tell me, is that possible?
Well, here's the thing. People say a lot of things. Like, we can instantly clear tent encampments. And I think you reported on the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal when we were at a point where we could not even move people. We're in a different situation where we have clarity on the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal. So we can move people only if we offer them shelter, which is what we do. We have always led with services. And it's one of the reasons why on Van Ness Avenue and places that used to have a lot of encampments, why we're able to be as aggressive as we have been in getting people indoors and getting them off the street rather than shuffling them from this place to that place to this place. But the fact is, they have certain rights. And there's a Supreme Court decision that's being discussed right now. And it may overturn some of these challenges that we have where we should be able to enforce sit-lie. We should be able to enforce some of the laws that have been approved by the voters of San Francisco. But right now, unfortunately, not all of them can be enforced. And there is no way that our city workforce is going to be able to go out there and violate the law in order to move encampments. But at the same time, over 5,000 of those encampments that have been, like people in those encampments have been moved out of these encampments off the streets. I mean, we used to see under the freeway large encampments. We used to see in certain parts of the city and exits and entrances, there used to be encampments, you know, like bigger encampments more in the city. There are still some in the city, but we've been working really hard to get people indoors in treatment and get them the help and the support they need. And the pandemic, we had to exit all of our shelters because, you know, of outbreaks with COVID and other things, but we've gradually been able to move people indoors and deal with a lot of those problems. Easier said than done. And if it could be done, it would have been done already. It is something that every mayor candidate talks about. They talk about, oh, I'm going to end homelessness. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then when you start, I mean, even I was like, I'm going to tackle this problem. And yes, we've been able to help over 15,000 people exit homelessness on the streets of San Francisco. But we have never had one point in time count where we've had, you know, it's always been about 8,000 with about half of that on the streets of San Francisco. We've never even had a point in time count with 15,000 people. So what does that say? It is something that we have to deal with differently. It can't just be about offering services, offering support. It's homeward bound and getting people back to, you know, families and friends in other places that they're coming from. It's, you know, Proposition F, where we're saying, if you want money from the city, you need to be in treatment. It's about making sure that all of these services that we're providing, that we're also pushing for accountability and not just allowing anything to go. People will say what you want to hear, but at the end of the day, we are trying to do what's necessary, which has made a lot of people very uncomfortable. It's made people uncomfortable that I was willing to arrest not just drug dealers, but drug users. It's made people uncomfortable with the ballot measures that we're proposing because, again, the goal is, it's like, look, we want to help you. We're a compassionate city and we will do all we can to help you, but we cannot just let anything go because of whatever reasons people believe we should allow this to exist on the streets of San Francisco.
How do you fire back, whether it's Mark Farrell or whoever you're running against, to say, hey, that's really not within your jurisdiction, or at least within your powers? Do you wait for a mayoral debate, or how do you get back to this point?
So I wouldn't say that it's not within your powers as much as, you know, it's more complicated, right? So once we got clarity from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal, because the criticism was all of a sudden the streets are clean for APEC, but the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal clarification that says, if I say, hey, Raj, I have a place for you, and you say, no, I don't want it, but technically I offered you a place so you are no longer involuntarily homeless. And what that means is, in the past, before the clarification, we had to walk away. We couldn't do anything. Now we can say, well, you know what? We have under another lawsuit, we have to bag and tag your stuff. That's a whole process. We have to document stuff. It's a whole thing. And we can move you from the area. We can ask you to leave the area. We can't force you into our program or our treatment, but we can clear the streets. We can clean the streets. And that continues to be the struggle because the people who are like mostly on the streets, I mean, I'll give you a perfect example up by the DMV. We have had 100 interactions with most of those people where the DMV is. Fell and Oak and Broderick in that area. We've cleaned and cleared and moved, and that has been really tough because we can't force people. When we'll see what happens with the overturning of this, the grants pass decision at the Supreme Court in June, but until then, we have no other way to force people off the streets in San Francisco. They move, we can force them off to move and we clean the sidewalks and they just move across the street another, but we need to be able to compel people into support and into treatment. And we need the ability to enforce sit-lie, no sleeping on the sidewalks. We need the tools in order to make sure that we can be more aggressive.
Is that going to happen, you think, in the next...
It could. I mean, this is a very conservative Supreme Court, so the likelihood that it could happen. And that will, as much as, again, we lead with compassion, we have to be, especially with people that we constantly are engaged with, we need the tools to be able to force them indoors, especially when we have a place for them to go.
two big props here in San Francisco. Prop E essentially gives more power to SFPD, the police department here. It amends or knocks down, wherever your point of view is here, oversight, accountability, and transparency. The ACLU opposes this. Why are you for it?
Proposition
E.
Yes.
Prop E.
So Proposition E, I actually put on the ballot.
Correct.
And I put on the ballot after, some of the, and I'll start with the small businesses. So there have been a number of break-ins all over the city of many of our small businesses. And in a couple of cases, because some of these small businesses have camera surveillance technology, and you see on the technology, the break-in going on, I guess the alarm being triggered, the police are coming, they're pulling up. In one case, they pulled up as the person is coming out of the location, jumping into their car and took off. And then the police stayed there. And so people were like, this is not an uncommon thing. It happened in North Beach. It happened in the Richmond. It has happened in the middle of the night in different neighborhoods of San Francisco. And the frustration that people have had is, why isn't the police doing anything? It's the middle of the night. And our pursuit policy is such that unless it's a violent felony, our police department cannot pursue. And so in those particular cases, they can't. And that has been my frustration with, I have always supported reforms to our police department. I led on reforms as a member of the Board of Supervisors, but we need to, some of these have gone too far. And giving our police officers the ability to pursue when safe to do so, because they're not stupid, they know how to do their jobs, giving them the ability to do it when safe to do so is what this ballot measure says, but also providing 21st century technology. When people call 911, there are cities that have technology where a drone can show up for a particular call, and you get eyes instantly on a situation to know, oh, this person's going through whatever. We need to send a paramedic. We need to send this. We need to send that. I love the idea of having that drone technology, or even when it's not safe to pursue a suspect, then that's where the drones can come in. And so drone technology, surveillance technology, and when I talk about surveillance technology, part of what we went through this 9-month process to get the board to approve our ability to tap into and get permission from private property owners to use their camera systems to do surveillance technology. We made 64 arrests just in the 6-month period, including 2 homicide suspects and a lot of drug dealers in the Tenderloin community. And our goal is to be able to use technology to combat crime, to deal with the challenges that people want to see us deal with, to cut down on the bureaucratic paperwork that takes our police officers off the street, and to make sure that there is a clear understanding with the public of what a process, of what a policy actually will mean for their public safety. Because what happens in San Francisco, the police commission will make a decision, and the police department, the officers will say, well, how do we fold that into our already existing policies? And things become a little bit more confusing. But more importantly, the public is like, why can't they? Or why isn't this happening? Or why isn't that happening? And we need to make sure that we make it clear to the public when we're making significant changes to policies that are going to impact public safety.
Is it frustrating for you? Can you have it both ways when you talk within the community? Hey, we want a safe city, but yet the rules are our police department can't do certain things. We ran that clip on NBC. You didn't watch because you don't watch TV. But
I don't watch the news at night.
But the optics of that was we see the police the officer there, and they're just standing, in their car, and the bad guys are getting away.
Yeah,
and that's what gets people frustrated.
Yes.
Whether you live in the city limits or around the Bay Area, because we all share the city in a great way. Can you have it both ways? We want a progressive, make sure we have our rights, but then again, it's too much. We're crossing the line here.
Well, and going back to the pursuits, because I know that there are a lot of people who are always concerned, about innocent bystanders when it comes to pursuits. Now, there was a particular situation in the middle of the day, car break-ins on Alamo Square. The police got there, the guy took off, and the police did not pursue. It was appropriate for the police not to pursue because it was, the streets were packed with people. Anything could have happened, but the drone technology could have been used in that particular case. Whereas the thing that happened at North Beach and the Richmond and some of these other places where these small businesses were broken into, it's like 2, 3, 4 in the morning. There aren't people on the streets, and the ability to pursue a suspect in that case should be able to happen. And I think that the goal is not to, just completely abandon our police reforms. The goal is to make adjustments to help address some of the challenges that we're seeing as a result of these policies.
Are you optimistic that Prop E will pass?
I'm hopeful that I am hopeful that Prop E will pass, and I think it will be a strong message. Honestly, to the police commission in particular, that they really need to listen to the public and not focus on ideology, but focus on safety. And to be clear, it's, this city has been a leader on progressive police reforms. We've made significant change. And as a result, we've time and distance and officer involved shootings and all of those things that some other places are still dealing with. San Francisco is not having that kind of problem, but we're getting to a point where things are becoming too nitpicky. And it's, even with the Department of Police Accountability, it's, using profanity or not wearing your seatbelt. And to me, it's like that. Those are HR related issues that should be addressed by the department and their captains and other things. And, when you talk about an officer involved shooting or police misconduct, that's a whole nother ballgame. And that's really what people wanted to see change in the department. But I do believe that in some cases we've gone too far, which is why I put Proposition E on the ballot.
Prop F, another prop that I believe you introduced, correct?
Yes.
It would mandate drug screenings for welfare recipients. So I'm getting money from the city, and if I do get money, I have to be drug screened, is what you're saying. And if you fail that test, you're entered into a free treatment program. If you don't go, then you get no more cash.
Yes.
What's the pushback? Who are you getting the pushback from?
Well, the pushback seems to be coming from, again, I think the ACLU and folks who feel as if forced treatment is problematic and not a solution. But I would like to talk about where this came from and who actually supports it. Because again, my upbringing, I have a lot of people that I've known for many, many years who suffer from addiction, who were those drug addicts in the Tenderloin, who fortunately, in some cases, are now clean and sober and are in the Tenderloin every day trying to help people and trying to help get people into treatment. And so my work with them has led to this ballot measure because they wanted me to take a stronger stance. And after numerous conversations, we've funded abstinence-based programs. We have buprenorphine, which is also very helpful to address the cravings. We have been providing resources and services around treatment. And one of the things that they said is we need to make sure that getting help is easier than getting drugs, and getting drugs is too easy. And we want the city to be more aggressive. And that's where this came from, is to say, for those who are getting money, if you want to continue to get that money, you need to be in treatment. And treatment is not just about a bed. It's, about maybe one of our 13 clinics and getting help and support there. It's trying to introduce accountability to the equation in a way that's going to help save somebody's life.
Yeah.
And that's what this is about. And it's coming from former addicts. It's coming from people who are in recovery, including people like Mimi Silbert, who supports this kind of approach. And we need to start, like folks are like, well, you need more of this, there are all kinds of excuses for what we need to do or what will or won't work. But what I do know, in light of the significance of this issue, We need to be as aggressive as we can to address it. And that's what Proposition F represents.
There's about 5,200 San Francisco residents that receive monthly payments from the city. About a third of the 5,200 have a drug problem. So that's probably some of the genesis that you're trying to get at here.
Yeah, and the third of those people are the ones that self-identify. They're the ones who say, yes, I have a problem, right? And I'll tell you a couple of things to dispel some of the myths. Number one, people are saying, well, what if they can't get into a program? We're not going to just take away their money unless we're able to commit them into a program. And again, the program can be an outpatient program or any other program for that matter. You're going to require testing. And now if the program that they choose requires testing, then yes, they have to follow the guidelines of the program. But our screening approach does not require testing. It does not require sobriety. The whole point is accountability. The other thing that comes up is we're going to take away people their housing opportunities. Now, most of these people, we're probably already paying for their housing, and we have the ability under state law to pay, like, for example, if there's someone who's living independently, we can use these resources to directly pay for housing and not necessarily give them money directly. And so this is not about trying to create a bigger problem with homelessness, but this is, in all honesty, to start cutting off the supply and where people think San Francisco is the place to come to because it's so easy to get drugs. I don't want people to think, well, I'll go to San Francisco because then we're bearing also the brunt of the challenges with overdose deaths and other things. And I am trying to cut off the supply chain here. And that's a part of why Proposition F is so important.
E and F, if they pass, is that going to be a political win for you going into the election in November?
I think that it'll be a big win for the city. And as I have always said, when I ran for this office, I mean, people have the right to run. People have the right to support who they want to support. What I am always going to focus on is doing the best job that I can do for San Francisco. And also, doing what I had hoped other people when I was growing up in San Francisco would have done for me. And that is to not let the politics dictate what you do, but to be a responsible leader of San Francisco in whatever capacity. And, my hope is that people start to see and feel a difference. But I also realize, it's politics, it's an election year, and those are the kinds of things that go with the territory. But I think regardless, these are going to be big wins for San Francisco.
You're a fighter. You like to say that yourself. Is this going to be a nice a fight for the next several months?
Oh yeah, it's going to be a fight. And again, I want to bring it back to, I still have a job to do, right? So I still have a job to do. And my goal is to try and spend my time, the majority of my time, doing everything I can to do this job and to hopefully do it well enough that people start to see and feel a difference and start to feel better about San Francisco. That's my goal. But I don't shy away from a fight. I'm open to that. I think this also provides an opportunity for me to make sure that I am communicating exactly what I am doing. I'm communicating exactly the progress we've made or the challenges that we may have or what have you, because it opens the door for people, to see and to decide. Because, I go back to the pandemic, I go back to everything that we've been going through for the past couple of years. It's been hard. It's been a hard job. It's been frustrating. I don't know if I would have felt like I would have wanted to do this during a pandemic or with some of the challenges that existed. And the sad reality is there are people running now that were just MIA, nowhere to be found during our toughest time in San Francisco, but yet they know what to do when they could have offered some help and some support during a time where it was really hard. And I think that people get a chance to see and make their own decisions based on what they believe they want to see happen in San Francisco. And I'm really excited about what that entails and looking forward to the opportunity to get on stage and to battle it out, and may the best lady win.
We have some great audience questions. I'll get to that in a moment. Can you, is it even worth your time to go try to convince a voter that just says, forget it, I don't want the current mayor just because of what's happened in the city, so I just want some sort of alternative? Do you even engage in those conversations?
Well, I think that, when I first got elected, one of the things I made clear is I don't just represent the people who elected me. I represent the people of San Francisco. And, it's not about the vote. It's like I still have to be available to deal with the challenges of San Francisco. I still have to work with people that I know are openly opposing me or against me. They're San Franciscans, whether it's the business leaders, whether it's different communities, what have you. The board of supervisors, and I still work with people, because at the end of the day, if we can just find what we agree on or what we're trying to solve for, or whatever that issue is, then I'm okay with coming to the table no matter what. It can't just be about who's going to support you. It has to be about running the city, and separately campaigning is a different story, but running the city, I don't deviate from my desires to continue to build bridges and good working relationships, like I'm surprisingly doing with some of the members of the Board of Supervisors who, I've had a lot of challenges with.
Okay, some audience questions now. We've got some really good ones. Mayor Breed, San Francisco is a world-class city. I think we all know that. What other world-class cities have you traveled to recently and learned from to improve San Francisco?
Well, I will say I don't get to travel very much. Like when I leave, if I leave San Francisco for any reason, which I haven't been able to, I have to leave a member of the Board of Supervisors in charge. And at one point, I only had one option, so I don't get out much. But a couple of years back, when we were trying to drill up some support and tourism and other things, we did travel to, I think we went to Amsterdam at one point. And one of the things I loved about being there is I loved they had a lot of people, but they had this great transportation network with bikes, with buses, with cars, and it was chaotic, but it seemed to work. And so I want to make sure that San Francisco, as we start to build more housing, as we start thinking about how our city becomes, of course, more affordable, that we're thinking about our transportation network. And also New York is another example of downtown. New York, many years ago after 9/11, they decided that they were going to do something a little bit different rather than the 9-to-5 financial district, and become more of a neighborhood and more of a place to live. And that's where we are with San Francisco's downtown. Downtown poses so many incredible opportunities. It's why, I put the information out there about a soccer arena. There's the possibility of, some of you might have remembered Sutro baths, like there are European day bath spas that are interested in the downtown, and also housing, and being able to convert some of these buildings, not all of them, I know that they don't meet the criteria necessarily, but we have identified at least 8 buildings that meet the criteria where they could be converted to housing. And also, right now, biotech and the world of technology is booming. We have a 31% office vacancy rate, but we have a 3.7% vacancy rate for lab space. And so the ability to convert some of these buildings that have the taller ceiling height for those purposes could be possible. And thinking of downtown as something more than the 9-to-5 financial district, thinking of downtown as a place of opportunity. And this is what I'm trying to get especially the business community to focus on, is how do we all come together and really work together rather than the one-offs, and build on, a vision of downtown that will make it the envy of the world, because we have all the makings for what's possible, but we have to be open-minded about the transition, which also includes, the city getting out of the way and making changes to our policies, which I've already done. One of the first policies policies that I changed was to allow for conversions. The inclusionary numbers we decreased because we wanted to incentivize people to transition those buildings into housing, and also getting rid of certain requirements for new development like open space. And there's no way in a building that's already built that we're going to be able to meet the requirements. So why are we having the conversation about it? So a lot of what we have to do with the city, because in the past, you know, we never had to work for it.
Yeah.
We didn't have to work for office space and business. We never had to work for tourism. We never had to work for conventions. And now we got to work for it. So it's not, you know, charge everyone all the taxes in the world and, you know, add this layer of bureaucracy and everyone has to jump through these hurdles for 20 years in order to build one building. It's like, no, we have to adjust our thinking, our mindset. And now everything is about incentivizing and getting people excited about these new opportunities. That's why Prop C is on the ballot, which basically says if you transfer or you build housing or you in an existing building, we will waive the transfer tax. It's another way to incentivize people to want to do something different with their properties in downtown, because downtown has got to become something different. And that is what I'm pushing for. It's why I'm making all kinds of changes and providing all kinds of incentives, because I know we can get there, and it can be an exciting thing for us.
We have a Prop C question actually from the audience. Under Prop C, would developers be required to allocate a percentage to affordable housing units, or would it be 100% luxury housing?
So it would be the same rules would apply. And just to be clear, we lowered our inclusionary numbers. And in fact, the Warfield is converting its office space to housing as a result of that, which I'm excited about. But it would still have the same inclusionary requirements based on the number of units that are being converted. So it fits within the same scope of the laws.
This goes back to something you also mentioned from the audience. It seems that many of the folks using drugs and receiving benefits in San Francisco are not from San Francisco. Why should someone be able to ride a bus from Iowa to San Francisco or somewhere else to get free benefits and services?
Well, I will say that that's kind of been my experience too, being out there, having conversations, finding out, and I don't have any control over who comes to San Francisco. But part of why I want to make it more challenging to get benefits is because, you know, of what has happened in terms of the explosion of drug use and drug dealing, and also how much money the city spends on a lot of resources to help people, and how oftentimes you know, we are carrying the burden for a lot of other places. And so I want to make sure that San Francisco doesn't continue that reputation of being known for that place for drugs, for support services and all those other things. But I can't control, you know, how people come here or not, but we do have Homeward Bound, where we try to reconnect people with their relatives to get them back home. And we have some other initiatives that we try to work on to help deal with that, but that's definitely
challenging.
It's challenging, but that's why we can't save the world in San Francisco. So we need to start dialing it back.
Another question from the audience. I feel like you are the grown-up in the room most of the time.
That's my new favorite person.
What is the single most persuasive thing that we can say to advocate for your reelection?
Whew.
Good question.
Oh, that's a good question. Single most thing? Oh, that's a hard one. I think in light of what's happening in public safety, I think probably one of the most important, I think it goes back to the pandemic and having emergency authority to do more. And despite the challenges that exist now, still I'm able to have some of the lowest crime numbers we've seen in the past 10 years in San Francisco, not including 2020 during the global pandemic. So we are seeing change. We're seeing progress. I think pointing to some of the data could potentially help. I think, I'm not sure. It might be something different for different people, but I think what's going to happen with my reelection is I am going to have those hard conversations with people. I think I'm going to have to get into the rooms. I'm going to have to do the debates and have the conversations. I mean, there are people who are definitely going to feel how they feel, but I do think it's important to have conversations like this so that we can really get to the heart of some of these issues. And, I don't know how simple of it is an answer other than I'm the grown-up in the room, like you said.
Few more minutes here. San Francisco is a Republican punching bag, perpetuating a false reality to the American people. People cringe when they learn that I'm from San Francisco. How do you stop or counter that perception? A lot of it is perception, but there is a lot of reality as well.
Well, I think, San Francisco is because, this city has produced stars in the Democratic Party like, Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi, people who, Feinstein, people who have been trailblazers in the party and are, they come out of San Francisco and they take off. And, Gavin, we all know is people are talking about he can be the next president. And, all these conversations are happening. And I think that sadly, there are a lot of folks who are using San Francisco in that way, especially because Fox News is really always on the hunt here in San Francisco for that story that they can take and run with. And it's unfortunate and it's unfair. But I will say what I'm grateful for is that when we hosted APEC in San Francisco, when we hosted Dreamforce, when we've hosted events, and in fact, you may not believe this, but I have a lot of elected leaders who are Republicans who come to San Francisco. I don't tell anybody that they're here. But what's happening, people are coming to San Francisco. They're like, it's not what everyone's saying. It's not, it's like, wait, this exists where I'm from. It's actually, worse. Like, what are people talking about? So those conversations are starting to happen. And I think, the perception is finally catching up, or the headlines are finally catching up to the perception. I mean, The Economist just did a big story. The Wall Street Journal and other folks are talking about the great comeback in San Francisco this and San Francisco that. And, it's finally starting to, the headlines and the media are starting to pay attention. And I think the challenge with some of these stories is oftentimes they're written by people who don't live here, who are journalists who don't have the San Francisco experience. And they try to find through the various videos and things they see on social media a way to kind of attack San Francisco. But I think that things are turning around. And so now you're starting to have San Franciscans who are saying, wait a minute, and putting up stuff on social media about this great event or their great experience or this fun or this activity, even though the problems have not gone away. Things are changing and people are starting to feel it. In that same poll that talked about me, 70% of those people who were polled said they feel safe in their neighborhoods in San Francisco, which included neighborhoods all over the city. So I think that, it's still an uphill battle to get change around what people have been saying about San Francisco. And we have to continue. We can't let up, even if we see things are changing, the numbers are getting better. This again, goes back to these propositions because the need to continue down that path is so important and it requires making those kinds of changes. So we're always going to be that, but my hope is that we demonstrate by all the great things we have going on here who we actually are.
Things can turn around quickly, I believe.
Yes.
What more can the city do to help the families, children, and small businesses in the Tenderloin and feel safe and thrive?
Yes.
That's a really tough question.
Yes. And that is a tough question. And most, Tenderloin has been one of the hardest things I've had to deal with because it's been really emotional for me hearing from these families and having the conversations about the environment that they're living in. And I think, the day has gotten a lot better compared to what it used to be, but the night is still very much problematic. And what this means is, and this is part of why I have these ballot measures, is it has a lot to do with the Tenderloin, and it has a lot to do with the families in the Tenderloin. We have a lot of immigrant families. We have a lot of business owners. We have folks I grew up with who used to struggle with addiction, who have challenges, and they live in the Tenderloin and they want safety. And so we need to deliver it with them. And I think some of the surveillance technology that we've been using in the Tenderloin that has helped us make those 64 arrests have been really helpful. And we need to continue down that path. And the people there, they want it, but I will say that they're not, my experience is, they're not as loud as most people because they're also living in fear. Yeah. And it's not fair for them to have to live like that. So that's why I would, no matter what happens with elections or anything else, I won't stop doing what I need to do to try and protect the people of the Tenderloin, especially the families, the seniors, the kids, by using surveillance technology and other tools in order to combat the open air drug dealing and the drug using. We've arrested over 2,000 people. And you know what? The U.S. Attorney's Office is helping us. The Drug Enforcement Agency is helping us. And the California Highway Patrol. And I'm taking all the hits for bringing in these resources. But in the absence of our police department's ability to do certain things, because under the police commission, things have changed, we are using other resources to help combat the problems of the Tenderloin. And every person who's a part of the California Highway Patrol that's been helping with San Francisco, they all volunteered for this assignment. And so we're going to continue down those means, and we know that Prop E will be a huge help in the efforts that we need to do there.
You have the right team in place in terms of your DA, Brooke Jenkins, and your police chief, Bill Scott?
Oh, let me tell you something. First of all, our DA has been great. She's been doing an absolutely wonderful job. She's gotten drug convictions, homicide convictions, retail theft convictions, so much so that people are saying, wait a minute, I don't want to go through this court process. I will plead out. She's holding people accountable a lot differently than people have been held accountable before. It's been great. Our police chief has had a lot of challenges. And when I say a lot of challenges, crime, we know, has been very much problematic. But the work that we have been doing with the additional help and the support that we have gotten from the different agencies that I've mentioned, they've been a game changer. The $17 million that we got for retail theft, that we're using for our district attorney's office and for our officers to make arrests in those big crews that run into these different stores to combat retail theft. It's been a game changer. Fake car operations, game changer. Like, all the work that the department has been doing has been contributing to the success in how we're combating crime. And Police Chief Bill Scott has been really a leader around reforms. He's been a leader on a lot of the challenges that have existed, and he has kept us focused on following the law. And that's an important part of it, because a lot of the policies for the department has changed, and it's required us to do things differently. And I want to just say something, since you brought up the police chief and the DA. I know some people are like, I'll fire the police chief. Trust me, the police chief is tired and ready to go. But at the same time, he's focused on the work, and he cares about this city, and he supports San Francisco. But you know what will happen if he leaves? This commission will be responsible for sending 3 names to the mayor. This is not a commission that I want 3 names from. We'll be just like Oakland. We'll be just like Oakland, sitting on a acting police chief because of the kinds of people that they will send my way. So it's easy to say you're going to do something, but it's harder to do it. And that's why this dysfunctional system of commissions, being able to have the ability, like the mayor, any mayor should have the ability to hire and fire department heads, not commissions that are appointed. And especially my commissioners, who are appointed but by me, the 4 that I appoint, but then approved by the Board of Supervisors. And so I've had police commissioners consistently rejected, very competent, capable, well-respected people to serve on this body, rejected by the Board of Supervisors. So it's easier said than done, but the mayor is always held accountable for all of these decisions. And look, I signed up for the job, so I take full responsibility. But at the end of the day, what I did during the pandemic, when I was able to exercise kind of executive authority in an appropriate way, is exactly the way that this city should be running on a regular basis. And if we want substantive change, then we need to make adjustments to the charter and to a lot of these layered rules that impede any executive's ability to not run this city like it should be run, like a company, in making decisions. So I wanted to put that out there so that folks can understand it's more complicated than what people say in a little soundbite.
Yeah, which is very true. And you talk about Oakland, they've been without a full-time police chief for more than a year now because of that police commission. And I speak with the mayor there quite often. The person who said they wanted to fire the police chief here was one of your opponents, Mark Farrell, who said the first thing he would do was fire Police Chief Bill Scott. So that's the genesis of that.
And he said it during Black History Month, too. He could have waited till March.
As we wrap up, by the way, we had great questions from the audience. We really appreciate it. As we wrap up, what have you learned in the several years you've been in the mayor's office now about yourself? Not about the city, about yourself.
I think I've learned how resilient I am. Because I will tell you, the pandemic, I keep going back to that because it was lonely. It was really lonely. I was running the city. I was doing the work. I was making these hard decisions. I learned that I was really resilient, but I also learned the value of what my grandmother taught me. And the reason people go back to, oh, you were the first major, mayor in the major city to shut down and stuff. And that came from like the strength of my grandmother, who was always a protector. And so I felt like, oh my goodness, I have to protect the people of San Francisco. So as much as it was hard to say no to the Warriors in playing another game and no to all these people who wanted me to say yes, to let them just do this one event one time, all I can think about was, what if? And what happens if, people aren't able to get a respirator on my watch? And so throughout that process, I think it made me definitely a stronger leader, a more decisive leader, and also more enthusiastic than ever before for a re-election, because I want to actually enjoy. I want to enjoy this new wave of enthusiasm and excitement because of how hard things have been, and I really want to usher in hopefulness and optimism and excitement about San Francisco, because I know we're tired of folks, trying to criticize us, trying to kick us when we're down, and it's time for us to bring in the joy, the excitement, the fact that we survived this pandemic, and now it's time for San Francisco to thrive and to transform. And what I do is I remind us of who we are. I mean, we created the television in San Francisco. The iPhone was introduced. The cable car was created, like innovative things, AI capital of the world, the clap-on and the Chia Pet. I mean, we do it all in San Francisco. And so it's so important to stop letting other people try to define who we are. It's time for us to take back that narrative and make sure that people understand that this is a resilient city, where we take freeways on Embarcadero after earthquake, tear it down and create this beautiful walkway, runway, a place where people can enjoy. This is the city where, as we start to see our recovery, we're going to take downtown and turn it into possibly a soccer stadium, housing, a new neighborhood with office and all these new innovative industries that want to be a part of San Francisco. So what I want to be able to do is make sure we remember that. And what I learned about myself is when I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and make it happen, there's nothing that can stop me.
Very brief, thank you. In closing, I just want to say your passion and dedication to this city is very admirable. Appreciate your time this afternoon.
Thank you, Raj.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
Mayor London Breed.
Thank you.
One bit of
Today's live stream is being brought to you by Clari-T Media. Support the San Francisco Dreamkeeper Initiative, recognizing and investing in the diverse Black and African American communities of San Francisco with a wide range of programs to support youth, families, seniors, and members of the Black LGBTQ+ communities. Dreamkeeper San Francisco is fostering hope for generations of Black people to feel free to dream boldly. Visit dreamkeepersf.org today.
As we kick off Black History Month in San Francisco, we are celebrating the legacy of African American leaders, artists, workers, and heroes, and reflecting on the many contributions they have made to San Francisco and our entire country.
Black History Month is about reflecting on the history of our people.
Black History Month is about celebrating the leaders who came before us.
Black History Month is about resisting the injustices that keep us from moving forward.
Black History Month is about upholding the values of inclusion, equality, and justice.
Black History Month is all about honoring those who have fought for the very freedoms we have today.
Black History Month is about what we can do to strengthen and uplift the Black community, and everything we continue to do year-round to build lasting change for African American people. We are so proud of the Dreamkeeper Initiative, a $60 million investment that delivers on our promise to strengthen our community and transform the lives of African Americans in San Francisco. This year's Black History Month theme is African Americans in the Arts. Over the years, San Francisco has made significant investments to ensure our Black artists, creatives, and cultural spaces continue to thrive.
Let's remember our history and use it to help move us forward.
Let's celebrate the incredible leaders who came before us and instilled change.
Let's continue to fight for representation and a seat at the table.
Let's remember where we came from and what it took for us to get here.
Let's honor the life and legacy of Black heroes who've paved the way for the next generations.
As we celebrate Black History Month, let's recommit ourselves to empowering our community, not just this month, but all year round.
Black woman owned. Clari-T Media.
Tune in weekdays to the Bay Area Mental Health Hour on YouTube, Instagram, and on Facebook. You'll find us covering issues surrounding your everyday coping skills and your mental health and wellness. And remember, your mental health matters as much as your physical health.
This guy moved here as a surfer, and my neighbor on the other side of me moved here as a surfer.
Okay, so you live by the surfers.
Oh yeah, and the one next to him is a surfer.
Do you surf?
No. Oh, that water is dangerous.
Dorothy Lathan has been living in this home right along Ocean Beach since 1960. She knows the surfers and a lot of other people. I guess that happens at age 90. You meet people like Senator Dianne Feinstein or Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., or even my colleagues. They met Lathan on a story last year and were so struck by this gem of a lady. They told me I had to meet her too. Show us, where are you, Miss Popular, 80 over 80?
I'm right dead center. That's me.
Lathan made San Francisco's 80 over 80 list. She's contributed to this city in so many ways, but you'd likely have no idea unless you sat down for a chat. So let's cue some jazz. Her late husband's favorite. And take it from the top. Dorothy Lathan was born in Forest City, Arkansas in 1932.
I have to always tell people Forest City, Arkansas was named for Nathan Bedford Forrest, who was the first Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan. And my city reflected everything that he would have wanted. It was very, very racist, very rigidly segregated.
It was so bad that Lathan's birth was never documented. Her family was too poor for a camera, so no pictures. She didn't get a birth certificate until her 20s.
This is the earliest photo you have of yourself right here.
That's the earliest.
Lathan's family left Arkansas in hopes of a better life in St. Louis. Despite little money and opportunities, she went on to college at Lincoln University.
And when you got there,
I met Arthur Lathan. And he was a big man on campus. He's very highly respected, very highly regarded by everybody.
Dorothy and Arthur Lathan were married from 1953 until his passing last year. The military moved them to San Francisco in 1954. While he fought overseas in the Korean War, Dorothy began building a life in the city. There's a lot that stayed the same.
Here they have pastel-colored houses, beige and blue and yellow. I just thought they were so beautiful. Then you get on the streetcar and go to the zoo.
Some things we expect to change.
My rent was $39 a month because my husband was in service. And when he got out of service, the rent went up to $69 a month.
But other elements of the city, sadly, have nearly vanished.
You can go all day long and not see a Black person in the bank, in the grocery store, on the streets. There's hardly any Black presence in this city. But then there was. We had the Fillmore, we had Hunters Point, we had Ingleside.
Lathan and the history books agree that redevelopment, or urban renewal as some call it, led to the rapid decline of Black and low-income people living in San Francisco. The American Housing Act of 1949, signed by President Truman, cleared the way for the demolition and rebuilding of urban neighborhoods the government considered slums. The Western Addition was ground zero for this on the West Coast, resulting in roughly 20,000 people displaced from the Fillmore district.
Then right behind that, they started closing up the housing projects. And then San Francisco became so expensive and valuable, they started offering people huge amounts of money to sell their property.
According to Bay Area census data, Black people made up about 10% of San Francisco's population in 1960, 13% in 1970, it's 5% today. The Lathans dedicated themselves to keeping a Black imprint on San Francisco. Among many roles, Arthur was the president of the city's NAACP chapter.
I was very politically active. Even the teachers were segregated in terms of where you got your assignments. We were assigned to Hunters Point.
In 1963, Dorothy Lathan fought SFUSD and became the first Black teacher at Columbus Elementary School. After 32 years, she retired as a principal in the district.
Out of all the things I've done, what gave me the greatest joy and the greatest pleasure, it was being in the classroom. I love working with those kids.
Then Mayor Dianne Feinstein appointed Lathan to the first rent control board and brought her along to Abidjan in West Africa when it became a sister city to San Francisco. Lathan was the first female president of Youth for Service, a city organization to help teens in need. But one of her most impactful contributions can be spotted right downtown.
We were just thinking that Africans are everywhere. And not only that, everybody came from Africa. That was a seat of humanity, of life, and that we should have a museum that reflects that.
In 2000, Lathan, along with a team that included Mayor Willie Brown, began developing San Francisco's Museum of the African Diaspora, or MOAD. It opened in 2005.
It was intended to be a Black presence, to make sure there was a Black component attached to the the redevelopment of the city after you've had urban renewal that displaced so many blacks. Can't you at least have one thing that gives some permanence? And we're just so happy to have you.
Well, thank
So
you,
happy.
Dorothy. And without your vision, however, we wouldn't even be standing in this building.
Kitsong King has been working with MOAD almost since its inception. She is a born and raised San Franciscan.
I was very excited because we don't have anything like this in San Francisco and never have. Then in 2015, we changed our focus to being a contemporary art museum, which really then set us really on the path to where we are now and where we intend to go.
Lathan was blown away as she looked upon one of the new exhibitions, The Dreams of Her Ancestors, a reality.
MOAD is that. I'm just so thrilled that it has survived, because so many things die. But MOAD is very vibrant.
And so is Lathan. Remember how I told you she knows everybody?
I remember you pretty well.
On the board.
We couldn't leave the building without someone recognizing her.
She is an icon. This lady, no, I mean that.
And this man hadn't seen her in decades. We just can't get enough of Miss Dorothy Lathan. Reporting in San Francisco, Jobina Fortson, ABC 7 News.
And now we're going to have some music and rap by Dame Drummer.
Sure. Check, 1, 2. You guys hear me? Check. Can you hear the guitar? All right. Oh, you can bring me down a little bit. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Check, 1, 2. All right. My name is Dame Drummer, and coming from across the bridge in Oakland. And it's just a pleasure to be here.
Black woman owned.
And
Clari-T
all
Media.
power to the people. A lot of my music is geared towards our people, and I'm committed to just all around positivity and using my art as a platform to talk about the things that I wish to see for our people, which is love, unity, and living our lives in abundance and good stuff. I'm a man of faith, so a lot of you'll hear a lot of God in my music, and I hope God is welcome wherever I go. Can you roll off a little bit of low end in this? No, I'm gonna play first. Can you take off a little bit of the low end in this microphone? Yeah. You can roll off a little bit more. Okay, that's good. I live in the ghetto on the first floor. They piss by my window, kick down my door. But I believe that soon, really soon, things are gonna change. I ain't got much money, but I'm a visionary. You can laugh if it's funny. Soon you gon' see. Things are gonna change. Oh, God has got a lovely plan for us. Something that the enemy can't touch. Oh, but we've got to move. But we've got to move. Y'all feeling that? If y'all want to snap y'all fingers, it's all good. Keep that going. I might not wear no name brands, but I'm still foxy. I got vision and game plan. Nobody can stop me, no. 'Cause I'ma get my change. What a difference a day makes when you're determined. We gotta do some unlearning and then do some learning. Oh, so we can see our change. Our change, help me sing it. Oh, God has got a lovely plan for us, yeah. Something that the enemy can't touch, oh. But we've got to move. But we've got to move. Oh, God has got a lovely plan for us, yeah. Something that the enemy can't touch, oh. But we've got to move. 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 Oh, yeah. So I'm gonna transition. I'm gonna use a track this time. Yeah, you could turn this mic down. Yep, that's good. All right, this one gonna make you move around a little bit. Don't play the track yet. So this is what I need. I need everybody to sing with me, right? Because I think I just did a pretty good job singing by myself, right? We're gonna sing with me this time, right? All right. So we're gonna say, I. And then we're gonna say, I. Ooh, this about to be fun. All right, Will, let's do it. All right, that's all. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Again, my name is Dame Drummer, coming from across the bridge in Oakland, man, and we share a lot of similarities with the city. I mean, this thing is going around all over the country, you know, and I wrote this song actually after trying to surrender my life in 2019. So I just thank God that I'm able to stand here, because in 2019, I didn't know that God was going to have me make a movie in 2020 that would win over 30 awards, called Black Daddy the Movie. So this message is like, never give up and never stay in the situation you're in, because it's not going to be the full outcome of where you are, right? The Panthers that we lost, I believe that we did not lose any of them in vain, because this movement is still going on right now. And all of our ancestors went through what they went through so that we could see our change. And whatever generation it is, I pray all the time that I'm part of the generation that get to see that change, that turnover, the thing that we've been fighting for so long. So this was the first song that I wrote after I was unsuccessful in taking my life. And I just want y'all to sing with me. I'm gonna give y'all parts though. You ready, Will? Oh yeah, turn it up some more. Turn it up some more. Turn it up some more. Yeah, that's it. I'm amazed at how fast the clock ticks. Man, I done had a rough year. I'm talking about, that's y'all part, right? I'm talking about, yeah, me and my lady called it quits. Oh dear, that was my worst fear. Hold up, I'm talking about, yeah. And I'm trying to get back to normal. But what's normal when everything you do is abnormal? They think I'm, but I'm not crazy, I'm just special. That's right. And yeah, I know in life there are no failures, only lessons. I'm a student of life, boy, let me tell you, sheesh. Stay with me. Say, I need to let some things go. Do you think I'm talking about my dreams? No, it's my attitude. I'm hot like jalapenos. Cause my people, we've been begging to be equal. Yeah, and 3/5 ain't enough. But that's all that's left when them people that ate us up. Like, that's right. Hey, yeah, Uncle Sam, ain't you had enough? And what we paying for so y'all can all shoot us up? Your weapons make you act tough, but not as tough as great I am. Cause when America's gun jam, Uncle, you know you out of luck. And if I'm keeping it buck, then you running out of time, you see. Cause everything you done to me is already written in them prophecies. That's right. You see, it was always at my fingertips, like that blessing for them Hebrews in that wilderness. But somehow I could never touch it. Maybe it was how you had that money on my mind and how you made me love it. But I done gave you so much time, but you ain't gave me nothing. My color's purple, maybe God was trying to tell me something. Like how I should focus on kingdom things. Cause nothing on earth will ever trump. Yeah, I said trump what that kingdom bringing. I'm on my kingdom thinking. The police keep us leaking. We let Big Brother control our palms. Every day he be creeping. But Christ already defeated hell. All you do is deceive me. It got me slaving for this mail like I'm Mr. McFeely. But see, I'm on a mission. Devil, you gotta flee me. I'ma be doing this business like Mr. and Seeley. Come on. That's right. And I asked the question, where does a man's soul go? Where the floors go shiny like some soul glow. And I done come a long way from my old flow. Man, the presence of God will dig you out that hole, though. I really do this because I love it and my people need me. But if I ain't got a pot to piss in, will my people feed me? I'ma be a source of light regardless if you see me. My brother Riga told me that, and that's my bro, believe me. You born, you grind, you live, you die. Come on, y'all sing it like, I. Come on, say. That's right, and you laugh, you cry, you love, you fight, like I. Come on, say. Ooh, and you born, you cry, you live, you die, like. Sing it again, oh, yeah. And you laugh, you fight, and you love, you fight. Hey, hey. Come on, listen. And if the elevator tries to break you down, don't let it. Hey, you got to go crazy to punch a higher floor. And if you ever think that God don't care no more, hey, he's always, oh, and she's always knocking at the door. Hey, knocking at the door. Come on. Now can you hear y'all say that? Say, ay. Come on, say, oh, and you born, you cry, you live, you die, like, say it again. Oh, and you laugh, you cry, you love, you fight, like I.
Say it again. I. Say it again. I. Say it again. Oh. Y'all did such a wonderful job. Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate y'all.
Today's live stream is being brought to you by Clari-T Media. Support the San Francisco Dreamkeeper Initiative, recognizing and investing in the diverse Black and African American communities of San Francisco with a wide range of programs to support youth, families, seniors, and members of the Black LGBTQ+ communities. Dreamkeeper San Francisco is fostering hope for generations of Black people to feel free to dream boldly. Visit dreamkeepersf.org today.